movies live on the internet. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive it was when they were making these movies, when we made movies like this.
Yeah. This is going to be one of those they don't make them like they used to streams. For better and for worse, I would say. But yeah, we're here to talk about the Rush Hour movies.
Yes, we
Bet you
are.
hadn't thought about them in a while.
Yeah. Except every now and then when you were, sitting home alone on a Friday night and you go, "Hey, I think I'm going to order Chinese and watch Rush Hour." And you know what? It's
They were
always
on
always a
TV
good
a
time.
lot. At least the first one was on TV a lot when I was growing up.
Yeah,
I that's how I think I never saw it all the way through in one sitting until this week. I
just
think
this
I'd
week.
seen it like off and on TV like for years, and so but I'd never gotten the full picture, if you will. And oh boy, am I glad I did. I like
Yes.
Rush Hour 1 a lot.
It's a great little time capsule of a movie.
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
Back at a time when Jackie Chan was the guy, the superstar. I mean, I told you that yesterday. I sat down, inspired by these two movies. The only two. There are two Rush Hour movies. There are no more. There's no more Rush Hour movies. They stopped at two. For good, for better and for worse. Because we would never know what a Rush Hour 3 would look like, and I think we're all okay with that. But I did sit down yesterday to watch Shanghai Noon, another in what you could call the Rush Hour subgenre of films. And you know what? I liked Shanghai Noon a lot, but can you even imagine today, right? Try going to a studio and being like, okay, so not only are we going to do a kung fu action western comedy thrill ride, but we are going to need $55 million to make it happen. And we are going to have a guy who's never directed anything do it for us. That's our plan. Money, please, and actually getting the
Gives
green
me
light.
money, please.
Gives me money, please. Getting a green light, and not only getting a green light, but making it so successful somehow that it manages to even get a sequel. Um, which like that is the kind of movie star driven box office that we have lost here in America. We don't have that anymore. Such was the pull of Jackie Chan's star power that even something as like objectively batshit crazy as that idea could not only get a green light but make a ton of money doing so.
You know, it's interesting because you mentioned that the guy who directed Shanghai Noon had not directed anything of note beforehand. Um, I was looking up what he had directed, and it's a couple music videos. That's it.
That's
That's
it.
all it took
That's
back in
literally
the
all it
day.
took. That's how Zack Snyder launched a career.
That's how the director of the Rush Hour movies got started. Brett
Oh, Brett
Ratner,
Ratner.
notorious
Oh,
sex pest.
maybe that's why
Um,
the third one happened in Paris. He was just like, guys, no, no, no. I'm gonna go be with my
for
people.
reasons that are I'm not going to disclose to you, we have to leave the country. He got started doing a lot of, kind of like LA hip hop and R&B type music videos. Um, he ended up doing a ton of Mariah Carey music videos. But the movie that Brett Ratner directed that led to Rush Hour was Money Talks, which I haven't seen. Have you seen that?
I have not.
It was written by Joel Cohen and a guy named Alec Sokolow, if I'm pronouncing that right. Directed by Brett Ratner, starring Chris Tucker and Charlie Sheen.
Huh.
So I think that was the sort of like
Well,
the seed that bloomed into Rush Hour.
interesting. Um,
Yes.
yeah, that's a strange trajectory.
Yeah. So, and
Yeah.
I think it's probably worth saying right now, it's a shame that Brett Ratner is such a notorious sex pest because this is a very well directed movie. The first one, especially.
Yes.
Rush Hour is a very well directed movie. It's also a very well shot movie. I was pleased to see that the
Yeah.
guy whose name I did not recognize who shot Rush Hour, absolutely gorgeous movie. Uh, First of all, it's amazing to me that what were largely considered kind of mid fun comedies of this era were beautiful compared to what's being made today. Because
Yeah.
this is the kind of movie that's reputation if you look at like reviews from the time, it's like, oh yeah, it was all right, it was fun, it's a
Yeah,
crowd pleaser, but it's nothing special. And then you watch it now, and you're like, this is
this
like
is great,
incredible.
actually. Holy
It's
shit!
really
Look at
funny,
Jackie
but
Chan running up a wall like that. That's unbelievable.
incredible stunts. But incredible cinematography as well. Same cinematographer as Terminator and Terminator 2, among other
Oh
things.
goddamn! Hell yeah!
Yeah, and it shows. It's an excellent looking movie. That guy did not direct any of the sequels. Sorry, that guy did not shoot any of the sequels. So
Yeah, Rush Hour
I don't
2
know.
still looks okay. You know,
It
like
still looks okay. It's not
it
as
doesn't
good.
look
No.
like it doesn't look anywhere near as bad as Rush Hour 3 does. Like, I mean, I don't know if you spent any time looking at the trailer or the shots from it, but like it because Rush Hour 2 was released on August 9th, 2001. That's a very important date. In
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll
Save it.
get to it.
We'll save
But Rush Hour 2 or Rush Hour 3 didn't come out until 2007. So it's like
That's a long
it's a
time.
long time, and there's definitely a reason for that. Because, we move away from a certain brand of action, goofy, fun comedy after a
Yeah.
certain point pretty quickly.
The buddy cop movie had its peak obviously in the 80s and 90s. I think that's fair to say, and then
Yeah.
it kind of died off. I mean, I guess I think the closest equivalent or spiritual successor to all those like buddy cop movies is like the bro comedies of the 2000s, and you know what I
Maybe.
mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, you could like,
It's the
honestly,
closest thing.
the Kevin Hart, The Rock movies.
Oh yeah, but no one likes those,
Well,
or do
yeah,
they?
yeah,
I mean,
some people do.
do they like those? I don't know. I feel
Some
like
people.
that's
I
like
mean, somebody was watching them because they made a
that's the
lot.
movie.
They made a
That's the
lot of
movie.
them.
Yeah, yeah. It's the movie equivalent of I think like network TV dramas where like millions of people watch them, but no one's talking about them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they make money, at least they did for a while. He hasn't done one for what seems like a decade now, so I think they probably fell off. Like maybe 2016 era. I wonder why that might have happened.
Well, there's a lot to appreciate about this movie. Unfortunately, I'm seeing some great comments in chat, but you're not showing up on screen, which
Yeah,
means
I'm
you've
not
been
sure what's
naughty.
going on.
And yeah,
OBS is mad at you. It will require one of you or more to sacrifice either a small goat or a Latin child. I don't make the rules. That's in the terms and conditions. Somebody's
what
gonna have
about a
to take
chicken?
one.
What about a live chicken or
You
like a
might be able to
camel
get
hump?
away with that. I don't know. It's a little non-specific, but you're gonna have to do something if you want to be on the screen. Otherwise, we'll just be out loud.
Yeah, speaking of sacrifices, Trayvon Washington says, frankly, I'm willing to sacrifice the dignity and sexual safety of any number of Hollywood actresses in order to have good movies like Rush Hour again.
That's the kind of
And you,
producer attitude we need back in Hollywood. Somebody give this man a job.
you know what? We'll just talk about it now because, hold on. Topaz Dude says, love or hate Ratner watching these. It really feels like the stars hard carrying the director as opposed to the other way around. Um,
Brett Ratner had
uh,
a pretty good run here in
he's
around this
directed
time,
some good
right?
movies. I am
He's
not
the
willing
Usual
to
Suspects guy,
discount.
also, right? Like,
No, that was the other one who's the sex pest. Who was that? I get them
is
confused
that
sometimes.
Bryan Singer?
Yes.
Gotcha. You know why I get them confused is because they literally are the same guy, basically. You remember when Bryan Singer left X-Men after the second one to go make that awful Superman movie with Kevin Spacey? And so
Yeah.
that, like, who did they tap to do the third one? They were like, we got to get a Bryan Singer lookalike to do our movie. Who can we get? They tapped Brett Ratner for X-Men: The Last Stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need someone that makes women and or young boys uncomfortable in equal amounts, or else the movie won't be as good. Um, no, Brett Ratner also directed Red Dragon, which
Oh
obviously not as
shit.
good as The Silence of the Lambs, but I like Red
That's
Dragon. I
actually,
think that's
yeah,
a good movie.
that's actually kind of that's a different kind
It's
of
a good movie.
thing.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of well-directed stuff in that. Now, in terms of the action set pieces, Jackie Chan is clearly Jackie Chan's like Gene Kelly in that he's like kind of directing those set pieces. I'm sure that like their choreographer and all that sort of stuff are kind of carrying the movie. I wouldn't necessarily credit all those to Brett Ratner exclusively or anything, but it's a well-directed movie and it's well shot, and I think it comes together really nicely. So we'll give him some credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, like somebody's got Jackie Chan is obviously doing the coordination on the fights and the stunts and all of that stuff because it's just now the Jackie Chan brand of action comedy stunt work
Oh,
is
it's so good.
unparalleled,
It's
dude.
unbelievably good.
It's
He's like the closest thing we have or had in the modern era to like a silent movie performer in terms of
yeah,
how
like a Buster
talented he
Keaton.
is. Yeah, in terms of how talented he is physically. Obviously, Buster Keaton wasn't doing any martial arts, but just in terms of the way Jackie Chan like carries himself in action set pieces, the way he like looks around, his like comedic and physical kind of vaudeville timing is incredible.
Yeah,
He's just he deserves all the hype. He's
yeah,
that good.
absolutely. Now, one of the things I do really want you to see at some point is the first Police Story movie because I went to see that I, for the first time since I was a child. If I even saw that movie as a child, I can't even remember. But that's when that's the first one that Jackie Chan directed himself. He is by the time Rush Hour comes around, he's about like he's pushing 45 or 50. He's almost middle-aged at that point, right? And
Yeah.
he's still incredibly talented and in really, really great shape and can do some incredible stuff. But young Jackie Chan doing some of these set pieces is just a treat to watch. It is like it is unreal how good those stunts in Police Story are. I need to see some of the other ones and see if those jog any memories. But like there's one of the greatest, maybe one of the greatest stunts of all time. It is in like towards the end of Police Story where he just like slides down an electric light pole that's I want to say like 3 or 4 stories tall, and the explosions are going off as he's sliding down. It's so good. The fight scene in the mall with him is unbelievable. Just so many plate glass windows that are just being broken, so many people being thrown through things, oh my god, it's like
Yeah.
it's so good. This guy was a superstar, legitimate superstar. Yeah,
Yeah.
Georgius Rex Police Story laughs at health and safety. The outtake reel at the end of Police Story, there are some that are similar to the Rush Hour one, but a lot of them are basically show the stunt performers like being rushed to the hospital or like pulled out and having like there's one where it straight up looks like they have to defibrillate a guy because his heart might have stopped. Like it's it's incredible the things that these guys were putting on the line for this movie. So at some point I really do want you to check that out. But like Rush
I
Hour
will.
is
I
kind
definitely
of
will.
the Americanized version of that, you know.
And for him not being in his prime anymore, it's like you can barely tell. You know what I mean? It's he's so like he's really going for it in every scene in this movie. It's
Yeah.
really incredible. So, what I find so remarkable about Rush Hour, the first movie, is it's such a like lightning in the bottle movie. Like now we've joked already that there are only two Rush Hour movies because the third one is so awful. I even think there's a huge step down in quality into the second movie, despite the second movie having plenty to recommend it. But man, that first movie, it really is lightning in a bottle. I love the basic premise of like, oh, who would be the funniest foil to pair with Jackie Chan? Like, what about like the most annoying black guy of all time? Wouldn't that be funny? And it's like, yeah, it's
Yeah, it
very
is.
funny
Yeah, it's very
actually.
funny, actually.
Because so I think what I like most about the first movie as compared to the second, we'll get into more of the specifics, but in the first movie, I find that Chris Tucker's annoyingness serves the movie quite well, and it rides a very thin but important line between actually being very grating and hard to watch and being the right kind of annoying that it needs to be funny in the movie. And I think they find that balance, and it's very successful, very funny. The second movie, um, it tips a little bit into
Scale tips
the
in
scale. Just
favor
tips.
of of
Yeah,
annoyance, like a big
he
fat.
yeah, he becomes very annoying to me in the second movie. He's got some great lines. He's got some great moments in the second movie, but they also he gets flanderized pretty quickly, and I think because it's such a delicate balance, it's easy to fall into like, oh, what if he was just retarded? You know, in the first movie, he's not brilliant by any means, but he's not retarded. He's
Yeah,
like, he's like cocksure, and he's arrogant, and he's a motor mouth,
and he's
and
obnoxious.
and he's obnoxious, but he's not like, he has some instinct for self-preservation. In the
Yeah,
second movie, he's constantly like quipping in like ways that are like obviously going to ruin and threaten their lives constantly. I don't know. It got a little annoying for me, but there would be much to say about what is good, still quite good, what
yes.
has captured the magic of the first movie in Rush Hour 2. But man,
I do
this
think
first
these.
movie,
Yeah, well,
great
this first
premise.
movie, great premise, and I do think that these movies, both of them, and to a different extent, Shanghai Noon also, which I'm gonna like. Shanghai Noon is kind of like a Rush Hour 1.5, really, like a
Sure.
Rush Hour in the Old West, right? Except we've paired him with Owen Wilson. We've basically turned the volume down on the partner a little bit,
Yes.
to
You
to
turned
a more to more of a white guy's speed, which. Oh, Walton Goggins is in Shanghai Noon, by the way, which is fucking
Yeah,
hysterical.
he used to be in everything.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
I
I
I
mean,
did
he
not
still
remember
is,
that.
but I mean, like, before anyone knew his name, he was just that guy in everything.
Yeah, it is so funny to me because Walton Goggins is really going for it in that movie. Like he is
Mm.
just I'm a little sad that they didn't keep more of his stuff because he just really lets it fly and it's very funny. But these are all from a subgenre or like a lost time, maybe I should say, uh, of movies where pretty much every race was just like totally cool with being clowned on,
Yeah.
in a way that we just don't get anymore. So I just saw somebody in the chat say that I can't wait for the next movie where an Asian tells a black guy that he will bitch slap him back to Africa. Yeah, that's great. That's really funny. Well, and like he also, because the black guy earlier in the movie says, "I will bitch slap you back to the Ming Dynasty," which is
Yeah.
also objectively hilarious. There's a really funny throwaway line in Shanghai Noon where some of the like the Chinese Imperial Guard who's in the country to rescue the princess are performing some martial arts, a swords dance for, some pioneers in a wagon, right? And the pioneer's wife goes, "These are the strangest Injuns I've ever seen." And her husband goes, "That's because they ain't Injuns, Becky. I already told you. They're Jews." And I mean, it's just peak comedy, dude. Like we're just, and that's just a throwaway scene. There's so many
Yeah.
more that are just played up to in both this one. And I mean, in the second one, we're gonna get Don Cheadle in what can only be described as Chinaman face, um,
Oh, yeah, and it's
which
excellent.
is, yeah, like we really had
He's the
hope.
China equivalent of a weeb
Yes,
in this.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so reminiscent of a time where like we legitimately had some hope. Like you can kind of feel it in the air in this movie where it's like, you know, we're in between this, the Cold War is done, right? America's on top. China's basically opening up to the capitalist idea. That's why Hong Kong movies are even happening in the first place, right? Is because of that. And everybody's just kind of having fun, you know?
Yeah.
There's a just a sense that the party hasn't turned sour yet. And I
Yeah.
think, like I was saying, there's a certain event that happens in between Rush Hour 2 and 3 geopolitically that really kind of killed the potential of this franchise to continue in that vein. But we will get to that. We'll get
I
to
mean, you
it.
could say it right now if you want.
9/11 killed Rush Hour. 9/11 is responsible for Rush Hour 3. The world wasn't the only thing that changed on 9/11. Rush Hour did. That was the problem. That's what happened. Because we took a like, we these movies are in one particular media landscape where it's okay to have fun and for a plot of a movie to be that a woman walked into a US embassy with a mail bomb and blew it up. That's like something that it's like, "Oh wow, that's crazy. That's wild that would happen," right? I
Yeah.
have a feeling that because like I said, Rush Hour 2, August 9th, 2001, exactly 1 month before we started swapping over from, for example, James Bond driving an invisible car and parasailing a tsunami into New York City. we jump from that into Casino Royale, which, that's a bit of an upgrade, just saying. But we've moved on from the fun, goofy buddy cop comedy where everybody can
Yeah.
have fun at each other's expense and it's all rather lighthearted. Exactly 1 month after Rush Hour 2 premiered. Look at what the War on Terror took from you. Look at what they stole from us, Carmine. They took this from us. This is what Al Qaeda took from us.
Yeah. The buddy cop.
The buddy cop comedy, action, drama, thriller thing.
What
You
I do
know?
really like about especially the first movie is like how balanced all the racial and cultural humor is. You know what I mean? Because everyone's getting it, right? Everyone's getting jokes thrown their way. There's the sort of incompetent white FBI agents. Like Chris Tucker is the butt of many, many jokes in the movie. And then obviously there's a whole fight scene that breaks out because Jackie Chan uses the N-word at a black bar, and then he has to fight a bunch of guys. It's very funny. It's good. It's very enjoyable. It's a fun little romp through cultural, and racial tensions and stuff like that. It's great. It works really, really well. I don't think the balance works quite as well in Rush Hour 2. Where suddenly, you know, Chris Tucker is out of his element in Hong Kong. There's some fun stuff, to be sure, but also they make him so, so, so obnoxious in that second movie. Like one of the first scenes in Rush Hour 2 is that karaoke scene, and that was rough. That that was
Yeah,
like I
that's
was
that's
getting
pretty bad.
that's
That
pretty
yeah,
cringe.
that's pretty rough. So, real quick, I just want to respond to somebody in the chat who said that Rush Hour 2 bombed. I don't think that, I mean, critically, yes, the response to Rush Hour 2 critically was that it wasn't quite as good as the first one, not as funny or fresh. But
It made three hundred and
it made
forty-seven
almost
million dollars.
$350 million on a budget of 90 million. I don't think we can
No,
characterize
that's
that
not a
as a
flop.
bomb or a flop. Yeah, that
That's
like
not a bomb.
that. Yeah, I think that's. I think that's a bit dramatic. But yes, it is not. You will have gathered that we do not think the second one is as good as the first.
No one
Uh,
does,
yeah,
really, and everyone thinks the third one is even
and if you
worse
do,
than that.
you're eight. You're eight, and you just like how much louder and more obnoxious it is.
And horny.
Yeah, and
It's
oh
much
god, it's so
hornier.
much hornier.
Chris I almost called him Chris Tuckman. Chris Tucker wants to bang literally every woman he passes in the movie, so
Oh my god, hey cutie, every time.
yeah. But it's also kind of worth mentioning that, like, critically, Rush Hour is, like, seen as kind of, upper mid,
Yeah,
on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got, like, a 62,
that's
you
crazy
know?
because I think on Rotten Tomatoes, critically speaking, Shanghai Noon has like an 80%. Yeah,
I mean, I remember really liking it. I haven't seen it in ages, though.
like
Yeah, it is better. It is higher.
it is.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
it is crazy. Yeah, I was
They
like,
make
oh
Chris
fuck, this is
Tucker
actually pretty
obnoxious,
good.
or Chris Tucker makes Chris Tucker obnoxious. It's the writing and his performance.
Yeah,
Um, he's not really he's not really hamming it up too much more than the first movie, but like the things he does, they're just not as like clever as they are in the first movie, and they make him more stupid by
yeah, they just
implication.
kind of make him more of a clown. Because I don't think they really had much of a. It feels very much in the second one like they didn't know what they were what exactly they were gonna do with him
Yeah.
because he doesn't really have any stakes in the narrative in this. So
No,
let's talk
not
about the
not
first one.
compared to the first one, yeah.
Let's switch over to the theater background and we'll talk
Wait,
about the
before
first
you
one.
do, I just want to acknowledge the image that's on screen because when I was looking up uh, images to use as the background material for the stream, I saw that fun GQ headline, and I just want to read it out loud. Looks like Trump will get the new Rush Hour movie he asked for because that's just how things are now. The seething resentment that because Trump likes the Rush Hour movies and Paramount is buying Warner Brothers, that we might get more Rush Hour movies, and how that sucks because it's what Trump wants. It's just so fun.
It
I
is
I love
very
that.
funny.
Like the passive aggressive sort of just resentment, just emanating off of that headline and the way it's written. Oh, it's so funny to me.
That's just how
Anyway,
things are now. The president
I
likes
guess
a
that's just
movie,
how
and they
things
might
are
be
now.
making it.
Donald Trump wants a movie made, he gets a movie made. It's like you know that
God, if they
Obama
dedicate it,
produces movies, right?
yeah, if they dedicate that to Donald Trump at the end of the movie, like in the dedicated to Donald J. Trump at the end of the
Yeah.
movie, right
Oh,
before the
oh
credits play.
man,
Holy shit!
that'd be great.
That would be absolutely hysterical.
Topaz Dude says, I don't know if this was mentioned, but today I learned that Rush Hour is directly responsible for Rotten Tomatoes being created.
Wait, really?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
Please elaborate.
you will have to elaborate on that. I don't know.
I never heard that before.
Yeah. He also said that reading that Lalo Schifrin did the score for Rush Hour was kind of a jump scare. Who is Lalo Schifrin, Jamie? Please, I'm not sure.
I don't know who that is. I've heard the name before. Topaz Dude, you just gotta elaborate on some stuff,
Yeah,
buddy.
you're dropping some bombs in here with no context.
I don't
And
know who
yeah,
Lalo Schifrin is, but I do know before we get into who that is, maybe he's a sex pest too. I don't
oh,
know.
well,
Who's to
he
say?
is an Argentine, so
I don't know that. To be clear, I'm not accusing him of anything. But I do know that I really like the music for Rush Hour.
yeah, I
It,
do too, man.
it
That theme song is really catchy. I remember that very well.
you know what the thing that stuck out to me most about the music in Rush Hour 1 is that it feels a bit like we've combined like Hawaii Five-O detective music with the most stereotypical Chinese sounds possible. And man, what a great combination. Like, I think it's in the first movie when he first arrives, when Lee, Jackie Chan's character, first arrives in America. He steps off the plane and there's a huge gong sound that plays. Like, that's what I'm talking about,
They
man.
do it
That's
again
great.
when he drops that he can speak English.
Yes.
Yeah, they just play a gong sound. I'm just showing him how to disarm a suspect. It's so funny, man. I mean, they also do that. They do play that up a little bit too for for Chris Tucker, right? Because like when he does his Michael Jackson dance in the middle of the street after blowing up Sean Penn's brother's car in the chase scene, right? Like they drop just like some stereotypical pop, pop music
Yeah.
with it, which is like that might be my favorite point for him in the whole movie is when he does that in the middle of the street. Um but yeah,
um,
like
Go ahead.
we can get into it. I've put the trailer up on the screen now, so we can talk a little bit about the first
Oh,
one and
sorry. I
the
don't
stakes of the story and everything.
Lalo Schifrin, apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, did the music for Dirty Harry and Bullet and Cool Hand Luke,
Oh damn.
Kelly,
Okay.
Kelly's Heroes, all that sort of stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, that's great. That makes a lot of sense why they like I mean, that's a perfect guy to tap for this. Like really,
Yeah,
this
honestly.
was just at such a fantastic moment for movies, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, like let's talk I did, lead into this by saying that Chris Tucker Carter does not have well really the appropriate term here, the storytelling scientific term is fuck all to do. He has fuck all to do in the second movie, really. um
Yeah,
he's not directly involved in any of it. So in the first one, it's an odd couple pairing between the cats and dogs of the human world, black people and Asians. um and he is an LAPD officer in the 1990s, right? But
yes.
he's a and there's some fun to be had with that as well, right? He's a black LAPD officer in the 1990s. This is obviously
At a
after,
time when their
yeah,
reputation is less than
in the
stellar.
toilet, for one reason or the other. It's either because they're beating the ever loving crap out of Rodney King on camera on the highway, or it's because they're fucking up so bad that OJ Simpson walks. Uh,
Yeah,
so like, really, they're getting it from both ends at this point. So they need a win, and I think Chris Tucker being obnoxious and annoying but charming enough in this one kind of lends them a
yeah.
little bit of credence, right? But he's an LAPD officer who the rest of the world reacts to him as if he is as obnoxious as he is, which I think helps, add a little bit to it. But
Absolutely.
because he is so obnoxious, he has made, and he doesn't want a partner. Yeah, he's made it clear he doesn't want backup or a partner. He works alone, and so they all kind of think he's like a lone wolf type dude because he's got a huge ego and a big mouth, and he likes to talk, right? Um, and because of this, he kind of gets the short end of the stick from his captain and from the rest of the LAPD. You know, they basically go, yeah, let's not put any of our actual officers' reputations on the line here. Let's make, we can get a little bit of bullying revenge on this guy by having him run the babysitting mission because the FBI is bringing, well, not the FBI. The FBI doesn't really want the Chinese detective on their case. We'll get into what that all is, the general premise of that. But so like they bring him in there and he's got to prove himself. We get a little bit of development as he works the case. We find out that he's doggedly determined to just, not just for himself, but because he believes it's the right thing to do. His dad was a cop and he really always wanted to be one, and now he is one, and there's all that,
Yeah.
right?
Passionate and stubborn in a way that's obnoxious in many respects, but ultimately is actually very important and useful for the plot. He kind of proves that he has qualities that are good and useful for the story. It's nice.
Yeah, it is nice. And he's got a little bit more depth to him. The reason he doesn't want a partner is because his father, I think, was it his father's partner who like betrayed him at a traffic stop? Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He
like
didn't back him
he
up,
didn't
and he
back him
got
up.
killed in a routine traffic stop by some criminal who didn't wanna get a ticket, and
Yep.
so he's kind of from his perspective, it's kind of a meaningless, ignoble death, and he feels that his dad's partner betrayed him, and so that's why he's like, "Nah, I can't trust anyone. I'm a
Yeah.
lone wolf."
I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone jackal. It would be something like what he would say, probably, right? But like, so, and then he has to learn that having backup is and working with a partner is fulfilling and can lead to better results than not. And he does. He becomes very good friends with Lee, and so by the end of the film, he's gone on his little journey. He's learned
Yeah.
something about himself. He's got a friend now, multiple friends, because he's called for backup and help, multiple times. So it works. It works very, very well. And you kind of get the sense of why he's as effective as he is, because even though he yaps a lot and even though he is obnoxious, he does get results. He knows who to talk to. He's in with the
Yeah.
community. He's kind of got the teasing and the joking and the ability to appeal to people's better nature, right? He's got
There's
all
that,
that.
and also, with regards to the yapping, like, sometimes that's the perfect thing to, like, distract or disarm someone,
Yeah.
So, like, he uses the yapping to good effect as well.
Yeah, which is very good. In the second one, he does not have any stakes whatsoever in the story.
No, he wants to go on so in the second one, they end up going to Hong Kong, so because what they want to do, and it's obvious why they would want to do it, is in the first movie, Jackie Chan is the fish out of water. What if in the second one, Chris Tucker has to go to Hong Kong? Now he's the fish out of water. Isn't that funny? Like, yeah,
Could be.
that's a start. It could be, right? That's a good start. But unfortunately, all he really cares about the whole time. I mean, he eventually will get involved in the case, and obviously he likes Jackie Chan's. He likes Lee to a degree, but he just wants to be on vacation. And so, like for the first almost half of the movie, he's just like, "Man, I just want to be on vacation." Like,
Yeah, he's
okay,
just complaining that they haven't gone to see the sights or get laid by hookers.
yeah,
It's like it's really kind of it. Yeah, and even
it's
when the
cheaper.
case, yeah, when the case finally does, because we're going to transition back into America for the second half of the movie, based on some very weak choices, I would say, right? Like the
Mhm.
the conspiracy in the second one is not as interesting as the kidnapping in the first, right? But when we finally transition back into America, even then, he's not really doing anything effective that is pushing the
No.
story along. Like we get the one scene with Don Cheadle, right? And then other than that, he's being loud and obnoxious at a craps table to distract everybody, and that's just kind of his role. right? By
Yeah,
the
and
end, nothing
I
has
said this
come
to you when
around.
I was watching it, that I would find him being the stereotypical loud, obnoxious black guy at the craps table, which is clearly what he's doing to distract everyone so Jackie Chan can sneak around, you know?
Yeah,
I would find that way more charming if he wasn't just that character the whole movie.
exactly.
You know, it's like it reminded me a little bit of Ocean's 11, the Soderbergh one, which came out I think a couple months after Rush Hour 2,
What another great
where
movie.
Bernie Mac like plays the race card, like to help with the ruse of the Nevada
Yes.
Gaming Commission thing. Yeah, because like that's not who Bernie Mac is for the whole movie. That's just who he is for that scene. And so when he's doing the obnoxious playing the race card stuff, it's funny
Yeah.
and it's different. In this, it's like, oh, he's being obnoxious. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't feel intentional. It almost feels like this is like not even a plan. This is just who he is.
Yeah.
Like, it
Like
needs to feel a little bit more like he can like he's matured a little bit. He's grown from the first movie, but he can still turn it on if he needs to. He can do all the sort of like, man, you're just doing this because I'm black, blah 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 blah, all that sort of stuff he does
yeah.
at the craps table. It's like on paper this can work, but you need to change a lot of things around in the rest of the movie.
Yeah, for sure. So I also mentioned, right, that the conspiracy in the second one doesn't feel as strong as in the first. So in the first movie, we open with some great stunt work of Jackie Chan on a boat, right? He's chasing some criminals around, doing some cool flips and some fun kung fu stuff. And he his main enemy, who's that one blonde Asian guy who was in like every kung fu movie of this era as a villain, because he just has that.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
in a lot of stuff. He was in Project Hail Mary recently. He's in all
Oh
sorts of
shit,
stuff.
yeah, he was. Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot that was him.
He's
Damn.
also is he the porcupine guy in the X-Men movie?
He is Spike in the X-Men movie.
He's
Yes.
also in the movie where they go to the beach that makes you old.
What's that movie called again? I don't remember.
It's called The Beach That Makes You Old.
Oh yeah, yeah, directed by a brilliant man with
Neil Breen.
absolutely, yeah, Neil Breen. Yeah, basically. Yeah, that guy, he was in a lot of other stuff, a lot of other things at this time also, right?
Yeah.
Like,
He's good. He's
yeah,
very good in the movie.
he's got a
He doesn't have
great
like a ton to
look.
do ultimately, but he's good. He's got a great look. He's got a great screen presence. He's like villainous and threatening while also being kind of like a small, like weaselly snake kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's shifty.
that is
Instead of big
kind of
instead of
fucking
being like a
crazy that he
crime
ends up
lord.
coming
Go
back
ahead.
in Rush Hour 3.
Does he?
Apparently he does.
Oh boy.
I don't know how you justify that. That's insane. He's very clearly dead at the end of this movie. That's wild. Yeah, he's great. I like him a lot. So he escapes from the boat, and yeah, we find out that the ambassador from Hong Kong, as Hong Kong is being turned over from British rule to China, he's leaving for America. He's being redeployed with his daughter, and his young daughter, who's very good friend, like very close with Lee. She
Mm.
is going with him, and there's a
First of
like
all, little before you get too far into the premise, I love the little girl, what little scenes she has, because I
she's
like that
so fun.
she's very good. I like that she's so close with Lee because later when they kidnap her and she fights back, it's like oh, like I can tell that she grew up being really close with Lee because he's a scrappy fighter too, and she gives it her all. Like she puts up a pretty good fight. It's a nice little touch, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I like that.
Anyway,
Yeah, I
you
think
were
it's
saying.
great. Well, and they set it up perfect, right? Because she punches him straight in the nuts when she sees him, and and he's like, oh, like it actually. He's like, God, like it actually, it's working, right? Like the training is doing pretty well. Jackie Chan also really great slapstick performer when it comes to like
Oh yeah,
yeah,
really selling the hits
yeah.
and the falls and all
Oh,
that.
he's so fun, man. He's just got such a great, just a great, like that. Oh, the je ne sais quoi of it all. Maybe that's why they set Rush Hour 3 in France. But yeah, no, he's just got this like yeah, he's really good at that, right? But so okay, so she and her father, they are going to America as the new ambassadors to America to or into Los Angeles. And I love the cutaway, right, when Lee tells her that no, don't worry, people in America are very friendly, and we cut straight to Chris Tucker just being incredibly obnoxious on the highway and like yelling at people, cutting them off in traffic. And right, like doing his classic, Chris Tucker scream, like "Get the hell out of my way!" That really
Yeah, and then
loud
he immediately
inflection.
shows up to a meeting with another criminal guy, and he, like, pretends he was there the whole time, like he isn't
Yeah.
obviously late. You know what I mean? Like, there's some I like how willing the movie is to acknowledge how obnoxious he is, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah. And like everybody is it's funny because like everybody else sees that he's obnoxious, but it's his persistence in being that way that kind of adds to the appeal, right? Like in this scene when he pulls up late, surprise, surprise, to the meeting, and
Mhm.
Sean Penn's brother is kind of giving him shit for it. He just keeps insisting, right? Like and like his story is like I was here 5 minutes before you got here, and then I went around the corner to get something to eat. I was hungry. I was waiting on you, right? Like he
"We're
just
supposed to meet in the back of the diner." He's
yeah.
like, "No, you never said that. We're supposed to meet in the diner." "No, I said the back of the diner." "Anyway, it doesn't matter if you're late, I'm late, who cares?"
Yeah, exactly, right? Like he's using the chatter to war it to his advantage in a way where
Yeah,
you can tell that it's like, "Oh yeah, no, I see why he's good at what he does because like he
yeah,
has a way of just being able to disarm you with this like consistent barrage of it, right?"
and just,
So,
like,
yeah.
bulldoze over people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's great. I love it. And like then we have this great scene where the deal goes wrong because he's undercover and he's trying to get the cops who are at the donut shop, off his back.
First
But
of all, I just wanna say that putting putting Chris Tucker's character in universe undercover gotta be the stupidest decision of all time. Like, you would never put this guy as an undercover agent. He doesn't blend,
no,
you know?
no, he does not.
No,
But it
he's like
is,
Archer in that
yeah,
way.
it's called tradecraft genius. You have no trace of a Cuban accent.
Anyway,
Yeah, so he
he meets up with the guy who you will definitely he's Sean Penn's brother, as you mentioned. You will obviously know him from great films such as Reservoir Dogs and Corky Romano.
Corky Romano,
He's
yeah, classics.
who could forget Corky Romano?
God, he has such a great line delivery in Reservoir Dogs. I forgot about the "Stop pointing that gun at my dad." It's so it's so good, dude. Ah, God, gone too soon. He was so much fun. I think
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. So he's at the illegal weapons trade with him. There's a bunch of C4 in the car, right? He's buying illegal plastic explosives out of a trunk, which I think is another incredibly charming thing that we could do in movies, like in movies like this, back before everybody was panicking about whether or not the title "The Two Towers" would be too reminiscent of 9/11.
No.
Like I think that this is something that
It
like
was a
they just
simpler
yeah,
time.
simpler time, like where you could have just like, oh yeah, like street criminals, yeah, they just buy and trade C4 all the time. Yeah, 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 that makes sense. We'll put that in the movie, sure. So deal goes south because two cops are going into the donut shop and he can't talk them back in, right? He can't talk them off of it because obviously they don't know that he's undercover. Um, so one of them gets shot by Sean Penn's brother, and then Chris Tucker disarms him, gets him off of it. Gets him off. Tells the cops that he's undercover, and then Sean Penn's brother escapes. We have a fun little shootout in the street where he runs out and starts firing at the car indiscriminately, even though there's a bunch of plastic explosives in the back.
And then it
And then, of
explodes
course,
as
it
you
explodes, and he does a Michael Jackson dance in the middle of the street to
and then
celebrate.
later when he's grilled about how he was so reckless and blew up half a block, he's like, "Oh, that block sucked anyway. It needed to be redone." It's fun.
It's so fun, man. Yeah, so
And it's
he
fun, especially because, like, I guess jumping slightly ahead when he's being, he's telling everyone in the office about, he's self-aggrandizing. He's saying all the cool, badass things he did. And then he's brought into the office because the FBI was like, okay, we need someone for babysitting duty to watch. So the consulate, I guess we're jumping around, but the consulate his daughter gets kidnapped by the small blonde-haired Asian guy. And the FBI is like, "All right, we're gonna take care of it. We're gonna put our best guys on it." And he's like, "Well, my best guy from China is coming, and I want him involved in the case because he's just that good." And the FBI is like, "We don't want this random Chinese, police agent getting involved, getting in the way, messing with our plans, and we got to solve this case ourselves." So what do we do? We'll just get someone to, babysit him and keep him out of sight and out of mind. So like, who do we get to do that? And the one guy says, "Well, if it's a humiliation ritual or something like that." It's like, why don't we just give it to the LAPD? And they're like, ha 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 ha. So they call the LAPD, and the LAPD guy's like, no one would want to take
No, I'm
this
not going to do
job.
that. It's a disgrace. It's an embarrassment.
Yeah, who am
And
I going to
then
give this job to? And Chris Tucker walks around the corner. He's like, oh, never mind. I got the
yeah,
perfect
yeah,
guy.
never mind. I got your guy.
And so we get this great scene where he's telling Chris Tucker about this awesome assignment, and this he's going up to the big time to work at the FBI, and it's clear that Chris Tucker wants to work for the FBI, and so he just leads him on to think that this is some grand promotion, and oh, it's great. The
Yeah.
dynamic of that scene is pretty funny. At the end, he's like, "You know what, man? You're great." It's like, "I'm gonna remember you when I'm at the top." He's like, "I'm gonna make you mayor," and he's like, "I wish you wouldn't." It's great.
He is so funny, man. But yeah, his also his partner, right? She's not the strongest part of the
No, she's
movie.
kind of weak, and she's not really his partner, but
Well, yeah, she's assigned. She's supposed to be his partner, but he never keys her into any of the shit that
sure.
he's doing. So she's mad at him for that, and she kind of, when he walks out of there, bragging about going to work for the FBI, she kind of, excuse me, almost feels like what the fuck? Like how did that work out for him, right? You get that like that little bit of expression on her face. But eventually when he ends up, finding out exactly what the assignment actually is, right? Um, they have this big call where they're all sitting around as he's complaining to the captain, and they're all listening to him, which is another bit that we've kind of lost now that everybody has a cell phone, really, and we're not doing this anymore, where like everybody sits around the speakerphone on the desk and like laughs at the guy because like he doesn't know that they're all
Yeah.
listening in on him, which yeah, it's a classic bit. It works really well here because the whole he's pissed off everybody in the LAPD with his over the top bombast. So now he's kind of reaping the rewards of that, right? As he's taking Jackie Chan around LA, as Jackie Chan is pretending not to speak English, which is
Yes.
another great choice, right? Because it lets him get now. It is insane to imagine somebody doing this in real life to a person who doesn't speak English, because he does
Yeah.
do the thing where he's just basically like yelling at him louder is going to fix the problem.
Yeah.
It- but it makes sense for this character, right? Like it's
Yeah,
it's
it
fun.
absolutely does.
Yeah. And so eventually
Yeah,
what
I
yeah.
totally I agree that the partner lady with short hair who is like being trained to be like a bomb diffusion person, she's pretty underdeveloped, I would
Yeah, and
say.
like they kind of just throw the bomb thing in because we're gonna do a bomb at the end,
Yeah,
right?
and
Like,
I'm okay with the basic setup and payoff of that. It could use a little more.
yeah,
It just needs a little something extra. She's just not because she's not a romantic interest for Chris Tucker.
not
She's just
really.
another friend and potential partner going forward, but it's not like it's not like he ends up willing to make her his partner. By the end, it's like he's partners with Jackie Chan,
Yeah,
you know? So, there's not a whole lot for her to do, and I like the basic setup and payoff because I like the scene. It works well on its own, not just as a setup for there's going to be a bomb in the final act when they go and like to distract her while she's taking the test, you know? Like
yeah,
it's a fun scene. It works well just as a general comedic beat when they're trying to get her attention and trying to get her help.
yeah, yeah. It works. I mean, it works fine, right? Like he does do his flirting with her. He'll just
Mhm.
randomly drop lines like, "What color panties are you wearing?" kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the weird pervy shit that only
Yeah,
Brett
where
Ratner could
he's
come up
just
with.
being funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Classic comedy stuff.
Yeah, and so like his task is to keep Lee distracted while the FBI, tries to solve the crime, right? And because they don't want the foreign officer running around fucking things up for them. But
Mhm.
he, wanting to actually be like the hero cop, decides he's going to take things into his own hands, take matters into his own hands. And after a really fun sequence of him chasing Jackie Chan around LA for a little while, where like some really fun stunts happen, like he's holds on to
On
a
the double
sign,
decker
yeah,
bus.
he gets off of the top of a double decker bus by holding on to a road sign and then dropping into a truck. I mean, it's it's so fucking fun, man. It's it's so good.
And I
He's
like when Chris Tucker, like, jumps onto the back of the bus, immediately pulls his gun on him. Like, just in front of a bunch of people, he's just waving it around,
and
and
then they all
then
start like taking pictures of him because
he
while
starts
he
posing,
poses, and
yeah.
that's how Jackie Chan escapes, right? Because it's like his
Yeah.
ego has undone him, right? It's fun. So like after a while of him doing this, right? He they get into an argument on the street where basically Jackie Chan, they have a fun little sequence of him disarming him a bunch of times, like
Yeah.
pulling the gun out of his hand, and some other cops show up. And this is where Jackie Chan reveals that he can speak English, and he really wants to go. And Jackie's here for the little girl. He's here to help make sure that she gets found. Chris Tucker really wants the glory of having solved the case, and he feels disrespected,
Yes.
so he's like, no, I am going to do this, and I'm going to use my connections and everything to figure it out. So by
He's gonna go
accident,
yell at a bunch of low-level street criminals until he gets a name.
yeah, exactly, by accident they
That's
end up
yeah.
starting investigating the case.
Yes,
Right,
exactly.
which is just kind of a great little premise, is that like for the first half of this movie basically we're not even investigating the case. um
No, we're like very, very loosely. He's just going to all his usual, like ne'er do well contacts and being like, "Have you heard anything that's going on? Tell me a name." And they're like, "I don't know a name." He's like, "No one knows a goddamn name." Like, and like he goes into that black pool hall, and there's the guy who's clearly high on marijuana, and he's like, "You better have glaucoma." He's just like he's doing his obnoxious thing where he just like yells at street criminals, like, "You better tell me something." And he sees that, like, his cousin in the red suit, like,
yeah,
that's a fun scene.
that is
It's a fun
fun. Yeah,
sequence.
you better get your hands off the suit. Your mama gave me this suit. This is my favorite suit. And this, in the meantime, there's a great pool hall fight taking place because Jackie Chan was told to do as Chris Tucker does. And Chris Tucker came in and, to the bartender, he said, "What up, my N word?" And so Jackie Chan goes, "Oh, yeah,
I'll say
okay.
that to
I'll
the
say that
barkeep.
yeah, I'll say that to the bartender too." And it
And then it
starts
starts a giant fight because they immediately, go crazy and try to beat him up, but then he just, like, demolishes a whole bar full of people. It's very funny. It's very fun,
yeah.
and all the stunts are great with all the pool sticks and pool cues and all that sort of stuff. A lot of great stunts in that, and then he at the very end, the final, like, like, bow on the end of that sequence is when he goes up to the guy smoking the joint. He's like, "This bad for you," and he takes it from him.
Yeah.
Good. Great.
Yeah. Fun stuff, man. Really fun
Then
stuff.
they go to get some food because Chris Tucker's like, "Fine, we'll go to the house and we'll help solve the case, but I just need to get some food. You stay here." And he thinks he's outsmarted him because he handcuffs him to the steering wheel of the car, but when Chris Tucker comes back out, he's just completely gone, and so is the steering
Yeah,
wheel.
he's taking the steering wheel.
And then we get another great action
Oh
scene
my
because
god.
I really like Lee as a character in this. I think he gets a little flanderized in the second movie as well because in the second movie they want to give him more goofy, funny things to say, but he's not really goofy funny in the first movie. He's not supposed to be. Like they're supposed to be opposites,
Yeah.
right? And so like when he comes up to the house and he's like, "I'm here with, I'm a friend of the consulate," and they're very nervous about it because they don't know if he's involved in the kidnapping or whether he's dangerous, all that sort of stuff. And he's like trying to do it the right way and he's hiding the steering wheel behind his back and they pull guns on him and so like he's forced to disarm them with the steering wheel. But he's like genuinely apologizing for it and being really sort of effusive about it.
Yeah.
And it says a lot about his character that I really like. In the second movie, he's a bit more of a goofball because this is a comedy and we want to turn up the goofy factor. And it's like, eh. He's not supposed to be
Wish you
very
wouldn't.
goofy. Yeah, yeah, I wish you sure wish you wouldn't.
I,
He's not supposed to be goofy. He's supposed to be very competent and serious, and, like, by the end of this movie, he lightens up a little.
yeah, well, yeah.
Like,
By
that's it.
by the scene where they're dancing together and singing "War" on the sidewalk,
Yeah,
like that's
exactly,
the
and that
moment where
needs to
they, yeah,
feel like a, "Oh, I didn't know he had that side to him at all." Like, it needs to kind of feel like that. In the second movie, that's just kind of I don't know, the balance is off, I guess, is
yeah,
what I would say about the second movie in general. They understand a lot of the things on paper that worked about the first movie, but the proportions of them are way off.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I really, God, there's the scene where he runs up the wall also, and then just like sits on it, sees like, because he does have like his little goofy moments, right? Because like he runs up the wall, gets on top of it, looks at the camera, like, straight down, because he didn't notice it when he was running up it, right? He looks at the camera and then he just kind of like pushes it to the side, like,
Yeah, in a very,
whoops,
like,
you know.
quick, like, punchy, simple motion. I don't know, he's just such a great physical performer.
He
That's a
really
great
is,
little
yeah,
gag. And then he, like, climbs the tree to jump in the window, but then they're coming up the hall, so he has to go back out the window and come back in and, like, disarm all those guys. Great.
yeah. The fit. Okay, so one of the things too, right, with like the stunts that he's doing is he's utilizing like every prop in the room, which is something that I think we've definitely moved away from. Like we're not doing, mostly because we're not shooting in rooms like this anymore. It's all we're doing a
Uh,
lot of like blue and green screen for action sequences and stuff. But like they set it, it feels so lived in and just so
Yeah, because he's
tangible.
incorporating everything, he's using the pool cues, he's using the windows, he's, like, using the steering wheel to or, like, his feet to pick up the gun and sort of catch it through the steering wheel and throw things at people, you know,
He's like
he's
tuck and rolling over the bed and like jumping up
yeah,
and doing, like using the wall or the ottoman or like anything
pulling
in
the
the
rug
room.
slightly just to make the gun slightly out of reach for the next guy and then wrapping him in it and twisting it and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. It's so like, I mean, if you were really going to talk about what was the that word that he kept saying about like the film is not tangible but like uh
Oh, the
haptic.
guy
The hapticness of the movie.
Yes.
Like this, if he were to show me like a scene from a Jackie Chan movie doing the stunts like this and call that haptic, then I could buy it, right? Because like that is what it feels like. You're not feeling it like you're touching it yourself, but the whole environment feels like it's being leveraged for scene, right?
Yeah.
As so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we've got all like and that is something that has been completely moved away from. Somebody I saw mentioning earlier is like, oh, Keanu tries, but I like, and the thing is, yeah, he's kind of in the most basic sense of that. The choreography with Keanu is fine, right? Like in movies like John Wick, the choreography is okay, but we're not doing the same things where like the pool cue or the waiter tray or the fucking like footrest for the sofa or the rug or the lamp or the cord on the curtain. Everything is something that he could use in like to disarm somebody or as like part of the fight choreography. And because they don't do that in modern movies, they don't put props like that in modern movies, like we're just not
Feels
getting this anymore.
it's
Yeah,
he's what makes it so remarkable thinking about it on a story level is just how quick thinking the character is.
yeah,
He's very resourceful. At any given moment, he has like unbelievable reaction time. And he's like, there's the thing, I can use that. He's going to use anything he can at any given moment just to get that slight edge on someone. The closest thing I can think of, honestly, especially in American movies, is the Bourne trilogy, like the first three. Where he's, like, fighting
yeah.
people with ballpoint pens, and he's, like,
Yes, yeah, 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 yeah. The
he's using,
improv
like, magazines and, like, stuff like that
before
where,
they go
like, if
way too
he
crazy with the shaky cam in the Bourne movies. Yeah, like
yeah, they still go crazy with the shaky cam in 2 and 3 because it was a different director, but even in those fights, I feel like despite how quick cut and shaky cam they are, which can be a little obnoxious, but they do it about as well as you can do that style, I would
yeah,
say. Um, he's still very resourceful in terms of using props and using the environment, so it feels real, and it says a lot about his character and that he's, like, scrappy and resourceful, and he can think very quickly on the fly. So I like that sort of thing a
Yeah.
lot. It's that's the closest I can think of,
Yeah.
really.
Maybe Casino Royale is another one too, right? Which is around the same time as the Bourne movies, right? Because and Ephraim Winslow points
Mhm.
that one out, right? Is Casino Royale does use a lot of environmental stuff early on. There's the bathroom fight sequence, but it's
Yeah,
that one's brutal, man. Like that's a really heavy feeling fight scene. But
yeah.
yeah, they do a lot of that. The parkour
He's
scene in
managed to
Casino Royale
feel
owes a lot to Jackie Chan too. I think.
yeah. These managed to feel very light. I mean, people are getting, like, hurt and even killed, but it's it's almost more comedic. It's more like a high-flying circus act kind of thing. A lot of the stuff he does, it's more fun. The Bourne movies, the fight scenes I think are really good, but they're heavier, they're grittier, they're more like two people like desperate to like obliterate each other, and these are just like he's like trying to get out of sticky situations a lot of the time, you know. And
Yeah.
so everyone's coming at him. He's like, what can I grab? What can I do at any given moment? And it's fun. It's acrobatic. It's gymnastic, and it's very very impressive. There's not this style in particular. It's just completely dead these
Yeah,
days.
kung fu like action sequences do not exist anymore. We have completely gotten rid of them. And like Jackie Chan, like we were saying, he does the slapstick stuff. But like there's a scene in the bar fight with the pool cue and everything. He like punches a guy in the face and then stops to like shake his hand because it hurt. Right. And he does it in like that really funny way. He's like,
Yeah,
ah, and then like somebody else comes at him and he has to start dodging the pool cue again. And then he
yeah.
uses the light to break over the guy's head. And he's like
He's not
apologizing
just
the whole
trying to
time.
kill everyone.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what I did to offend you. Please stop trying to attack me.
Like it feels more like he's doing this out of necessity, right? and
Yeah.
and just quick thinking than it, and not that like his life is necessarily in severe danger. It's just that he kind of, it's almost like he kind of can't help himself but be better at fighting than you, and so
Yeah.
he's like he's
Yeah, yeah.
it's
He's
kind
like,
of,
"I'm
yeah.
sorry to have to do this to you, but you did come after me first, and I don't really understand why in this case, especially the bar, the pool hall scene."
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I do think that like there's just something so like they get progressively more intricate too as the movie goes on, but really like we're not wasting a minute in any of them, and we're throwing a lot in to keep it rolling from scene to scene, right? Like there's a good amount, especially towards the back half. And I think it's probably because they take their time after the first big one at the beginning. They take their time with the character stuff and the comedy dynamic, the odd couple dynamic between Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan for the next little bit. But then they work some of this stuff in as soon as the investigation gets started, so that you kind of like you feel where it's going, right? You're like, okay, so then we're gonna go to this place and we're gonna have a nice fight here and we're gonna go here. Like it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So
Yeah, the action is very well spread out through the movie in a way where it doesn't feel so much like, "Oh, and then we have another fight," because the next thing after the big fight we just described where he fights his way into the consulate, they're talking about everything, what's going on. They get a call from blonde-haired Asian villain man
and Chris
who
Tucker
is
just kind of like picks it up nonchalantly, which is so fucking
answers the
funny.
phone, starts
Oh well, no, because
taking
he's
notes.
he's going to call, like he's going to call somebody, and this is another thing that I think works really well, right? Is that it's accidental, because he
Yeah.
starts talking about how like, yeah, I'm just gonna call, but he doesn't hear the phone ring because he's talking so much, so he picks it up after one ring, and finds out there's somebody on the other end by
And then
accident.
immediately just goes into, like, taking notes and stuff like that, but also because he's such a yapper, he keeps him on just long enough to get a location, which
Yeah,
is funny as well, but, like, yeah, it's, like, purely accidental, but, like, the next big action moment is not another Jackie Chan fighting a bunch of guys sequence. They go to the place where the location was, and they realize it's a trap. Guys wired it with C4, little callback, little setup, and the whole top, floor of this like four-story building explodes and kills a bunch of the SWAT guys that are in there. Like that's pretty gnarly.
yeah.
And then they manage to see the blonde Asian guy in the distance because that's another thing I like about Lee's character a lot. In the immediate aftermath of the giant explosion, like you can read into it that he kind of has an intuition that maybe the guy who did this would be watching So he turns around and looks the other way, sees one guy who's watching, and then walks away. And it's like, that's the guy. And he goes running after him, which is
When
just
he
real.
recognizes him from the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So
and
like,
he
yeah.
recognizes him, which helps, obviously. But like, I just like that he has that instinct to be like, but maybe the guy who did it is watching. He sort of looks around and then sees him. It's good.
Yeah,
He
well, and
goes
he
chasing
has
after
the
him.
instinct that this is a setup from the get go too. Because and I like he's
Yeah.
like, if you were asking for $20 million, would you be in a place like that? And they're all just like, shut up, Chinaman, we don't care. And it is a little bit like a two underdogs in the story, right?
Yeah.
Like which I think is working in its favor very well also. But yeah, but the sequence where he's chasing him is also great. Like the chase sequences are a lot of fun because they incorporate some physical comedy and some stunts and everything into them, which
Yeah.
you know
Well, there's a great little setup in this bit. This is a bit that they completely ruin in the second movie, I must say, where they're chasing after the guy. Jackie Chan goes across like a really rickety construction scaffold bridge thing that's like weak in the middle or whatever, and his foot falls through, and he like tries to tell Chris Tucker like don't walk over the bridge, but he doesn't hear him because he doesn't listen to people, and so they fall through the floor and crash to the ground. The guy manages to get away, and Lee is like, "I told you not to come across." No, he says like, "Why didn't you tell me not to come across the bridge?" He's like, "I did." It's like, "No, you didn't." And he's like, "Yeah, I said." He said, I forget exactly the words,
because I
but then he
said
goes like,
stop,
"Man,
because
nobody can hear what you."
don't nobody know what you say. Don't
Yeah,
nobody understand what you say, man.
and it's like that's a funny bit. I think it works really well. Man, that bit they bludgeon that joke into the ground in the second movie. Like they keep
Yeah,
doing
they
that.
do.
Like
Another joke they ruin in the second movie is the "Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" thing.
yes,
They
yeah.
ruin that. That is like,
It's
uh,
tasteful in the first movie.
yeah,
It's simple and effective because in that action set piece where he comes running over the bridge, Jackie Chan is trying to tell him like, "No, no, 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 don't." But his
well,
English isn't the
yeah. His
best.
English isn't the best, and also Carter is not going to listen. We know
No,
this. He's
yeah,
gonna
he's
keep
too
going
busy
no matter
talking.
what.
He's not listening to you, and so like that's a funny little moment. Like, ain't nobody understand what you be saying. It's good. And then God, they just ruin it in the second movie. They just because it isn't just that they spam it as a joke. It's that like in a lot of the other situations that it comes up in the second movie, it just doesn't work because like he has his mouth taped shut. That's the second movie, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's the second one where
Yeah,
they,
he has
yeah,
his mouth taped shut, and he's like, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" And he's like, "I did." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "I said, mm." It's like this doesn't work. Neither of them would think he was capable of saying that this was a
yeah,
danger. He
yeah.
has his
Like
mouth
that
literally
is not,
taped
yeah,
shut.
that is not one where I buy that like either of them believes that that was enough.
Yeah,
Like,
like that just doesn't work. It
yeah.
doesn't.
Although I do like the scene in the second one where he has the bomb and he's like his hands are taped together and he's got the bomb in his mouth and he's like running through the casino of where all
Yeah,
everybody
and
panics
everyone's
trying to get.
freaking
Oh my
out. Yeah,
god, dude, I that is really fun. I do like
yeah,
that
it is
action
fun.
sequence a lot. I also like the villain in the second one and how we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I do like the girl villain in the second one though. I think she has she has an interesting, you know, cruel dynamic that I think works pretty well. Um, but yeah, so
And they go
they
check in with the bomb diffusion girl.
yes, yeah, and he distracts her. The fake bomb goes off. She complains that she was distracted, and her boss goes, "Well, yeah, you think that can't happen in the field,
Yeah, you're gonna be
dipshit?"
distracted.
Like, which
And
is,
someone did mention this earlier in terms of like we don't give her a lot to do. She's not very well characterized.
but
Her
there's
actress
something.
is fine, but there is a little something. Someone pointed it out that like she's not an expert in bomb diffusion by any means. But at the end, she's nervous and she's not entirely sure that she can do it, but she does risk it anyway. To save the girl and save everyone else. And like that's a nice little moment. It's something.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I do like that. I like that's where we go. And somebody had also mentioned that like if you were trying to make this movie now, that probably wouldn't fly. And yeah, I think you might be right about that. I feel like they probably somebody along the line probably would have been like, no, we can't have her being like,
She should be an
actually
expert.
incapable. She should be an expert, and it actually is just Chris Tucker's fault that it doesn't go off. And so she's like perfectly calm and collected by the time. But like the thing is, right? Because like you're gonna ruin this tension later with the bomb vest.
Yes.
Like if you don't set that up.
Like
So
that
like,
would stop him.
yeah, of course, it wouldn't stop them because they're
Yeah, yeah.
more worried about optics than story and how your scenes are built with the stories or how your finale is built with the scenes from before, and with your setups. So like by setting her up as maybe too nervous and a little bit too hesitant on the bomb defusal stuff, it really adds to the tension when she has to cut the bomb vest off the little girl. Like it makes it way more compelling.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
like it's just little things like that that we don't do anymore. That we were doing just about what 25 years ago is when this movie came out, something like that. It's not long. It's really not.
No. No, it really isn't. Anyway, then they go to visit. Well, first of all, he goes to the jail to visit Sean Penn's brother. But first, he had another great opportunity to show that his yapping and his ability to just sort of bulldoze over people in conversation comes in handy because he's talking to the security guard. And he's like, "I can't let you in there." He's like, "Oh, come on, man! Like, do it as a favor to me." And he just like he guilt trips him. I don't remember exactly what he says. Do you remember what
It's
he
Lee
says?
who does it, right? Like because he
No,
tries
it
to
isn't.
get.
Is it?
Yeah, Lee shows him the picture of the little girl, and that's what convinces him otherwise, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe I'm just misremembering it.
because he warns him. He says like, okay, look, because Chris Tucker comes in trying to get him to tell him what the detonator is, and he's suspicious of him. Which another like
No,
in
no, I'm not talking about the prisoner. I'm talking about the guard.
oh, the guard, yeah, no, that, yeah, sorry, that is, yeah, that
Yeah,
he
he convinces it's Lee who convinces the prisoner by saying like, "Look at this little girl. We're trying to do this for a little girl. Come on, you got to help us. Just give us a name, right?"
yeah.
But when it comes to the guard, it's Chris Tucker's ability to just sort of like bulldoze over people in conversation, and like he like guilt trips him, like, "Oh, come on, man! Like I did this for you," and blah blah blah. I don't remember exactly what it
Oh
is,
no,
but
he
it's
was just
funny.
like something about like that time. I got you this job, right? He's like, I got you. He
Right,
tells him,
that's
I
what it
got you
is.
this job, and it's just he says something about like all that weed. He's like, I was buying it from you.
Yeah,
Yeah, which
yeah, it's
is
good.
yeah, it's fun. It's a fun way of like it's this another thing that this movie does really well is it's a fun way of playing with stereotypes that we just wouldn't get, you know?
Yeah,
Like
no,
they would be too nervous to make some of these jokes like that one, for example, right? Like
yep,
it feels very much like it's coming from a good place, you know, where you can crack some of these like borderline jokes about how like the black police officer who's embedded in in the Los Angeles community used to be a
yeah,
drug dealer, right? Like you can play
yeah.
or that he's late to the pickups all the time, right? Like you
Yeah.
can do that and nobody's
Oh, yeah,
gonna.
so yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but, like, the exact wording of this bit is pretty funny to me. So he's like, "You want me to lose my job?" He's like, "I got you this damn job." And he's like, "You better let me in here." He says, "No, I can't do it." "Didn't I turn my back when you bought that bag of weed?" And he's like, "I was splitting it with you." He's like, "Well, didn't I give you the bigger half?" It's like, "Do me this favor." Like, that sort of stuff, like, he gets to use those skills, to great effect, and, he gets to be useful in that way. It's fun. "Didn't I give you the bigger half? Come on,
Yeah.
do me this favor." He's like, "Fine." He gets a lot of people because they just give up arguing with him.
Yeah, exactly, which is fun. Which like
Yeah,
like it shows that he can actually be effective. So it's like it kind of plays with your expectation of what this character is going to be like, right? Like
yeah,
he's not just a clown character. He is useful. He is going to, he's going to have some kind of persistence or perseverance that drives the plot and does it well and lets him be the hero or one of the heroes of the story. Something again, like we just don't do this anymore. We don't we kind of just let them be clowns at this point and flanderize
yeah,
them like you've been saying. Yeah.
yeah.
So then
So
they
they
yeah,
get a name from Sean
Sean
Penn's
Penn's
brother.
brother.
Then they're
Sean Penn's
going,
fat brother. Yeah.
yeah, they're staking out the little, is it a restaurant?
Yeah,
It's
it's
the
the
restaurant.
restaurant. It's a restaurant, and they're eating from a street food vendor. I like the the street food vendor is like fighting with him because he's like he's asking him why he doesn't have like fried chicken or anything like that, and the street
Yeah.
food vendor just drops the like, we don't sell soul food here. Like it's yeah, I'm no punk bitch. It's just like it's
Good.
I don't know, man. It's fun. It's a good time. But yeah,
Yeah.
like and so then this is where like he had like he kind of like this is where it really starts to kind of gel for the two of them, right? Because like Jackie buys him some food that he likes, right? Even though it
Mhm.
is he's like, oh,
Camel
that's
hump.
eel and camel's hump, right? So then he like,
Chinese people will eat anything. Am I right?
am I right,
Yes.
fellas?
True.
Well, yeah. Very true. Very true. I did find myself wondering if there was a time where you could buy camel's hump from some random street food vendor in Los Angeles. Because,
The good
like,
old days. The before times.
yeah, so well, and so then like they use that he actually likes it, right? As a way of like for a comedy in the very next scene because he tries to go in undercover to the Chinese restaurant and start throwing around the name of the criminal.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's like pretending to order, and I like how he's so unfamiliar with Chinese food, right? As an American, I guess. Sure, right? That like when he goes into the Chinese restaurant and people are walking by, the waiter's walking by with a big plate for another table. He calls the waiter over, smells the food, and then goes, nah, 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 waves his hand away and like sends her away, right? Because
Yeah,
he's just like, I don't know what that is, but I'm just gonna see if it's passes the sniff test,
yeah.
which is also kind of fun. But like he's trying he is so confident that this is gonna work that he just goes in and starts throwing around the criminal's name.
Like, I know you know who I'm talking about. Go let him know I'm here.
Yeah, which it's like funny how disarming it is that it works. Like,
Yeah. Exactly. He just bulldozes over people. Like, she's trying to politely be like, "I don't know." She denies it 3 times. He's like, "Bitch, I don't believe you. Like, go tell him I'm here." And it's right. And he's right and it works. Um, and then this is when we get the reveal that blonde-haired Asian isn't the big bad guy. He's only a
he's
medium
only the
bad guy,
medium bad guy. The big bad guy is the British Hong Kong ambassador man
played by
who
Tom Wilkinson, who's in everything.
yeah, and he is a prolific
He's great.
yeah.
He's
A
great in this.
really good character actor. Yeah, another thing that we've lost a little bit is character actor villains. Yeah, we don't do that anymore either. It's always got to be a big superstar to match the aura of the other guy. But anyway,
Mhm.
yeah, he's doing a pretty good job. And so the reason that we'll get around to the we're jumping around already anyway, right? But like the reason that he's doing this all, which I think is also kind of interesting, especially compared to the second one, is that when Hong Kong swapped over from British rule to Chinese rule, he essentially had to give up his collection of rare artifact art pieces, and he really did not want to do that because like they're all cultural items that are being transferred back over and forced to like go on tour. But he wants
He'd been, like, painstakingly assembling this collection over
yeah.
many, many years at great expense, one imagines.
Yes. Well, yeah, great enough expense that he decided to kidnap the ambassador's daughter and just like blackmail him for the money that the collection would be worth, right?
Yeah.
So
And
I
that's interesting. It's because it's unusual as far as a villain plan goes. That's
well, yeah,
different,
it
you
is
know?
different, and it's kind of so. I found myself like it's one of those ones where like as a kid I never thought twice about it, right? But as an adult, I was sitting there thinking about it like no, actually, I kind of like I see why he's mad, right? Like I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like this makes sense. I wouldn't be happy about this either. But
Yeah.
it gives you the opportunity to be like, yeah, okay, but like is you it's really not about the art, really, because it's like you've done this not for the sake of the art, not for this because you like, you know, because you like the pieces and because you are interested in the culture and the history of it all. It's because you want the value, the value and the prestige that's attached to it. And so losing that is what's driving you nuts, right? So like it gives you that sense of motivation. It's a subtle little thing, but it's not so cartoonishly evil that it makes you go like, what the fuck? Why? Why is this why is this a thing? You know? Um
Yeah.
so I like that. I like that as a plot point. I think that that's a good motivation for the villain, and like small little bits of characterization that are working in
Yeah.
favor. The second one's villain, it like the plot is a little more confusing, um,
Yes.
but also not terrible and kind of interesting in like why they're doing exactly what it is they're doing. Just a little, it's a little sloppier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, in the second one, basically they've got their hands on some incredibly realistic counterfeit money, and they decide that they're going to print a bunch of it and then pass it off as real to a bunch of people at a casino.
Yeah, they're gonna launder it into a
Yeah,
casino. Yeah.
launder it into a casino and basically get, it'll just
Incredibly
get
rich.
incredibly rich and like pretty much for nothing. Um, it's good. It's not great, when we get around to that one. I think
It doesn't have the
mainly,
emotional pull of the kidnapped
yeah, the
daughter.
kidnapped daughter. Like the they try to make up for that with Jackie Chan, with the villain being Jackie Chan's dad's former partner.
Yeah, that
Um,
it just felt a little forced
yeah,
to me.
it's
It
not.
didn't have it did not give me the feeling they wanted it to. They wanted it to be like, "Oh my gosh," but I was just like, "Oh, yeah, that is what you would do if you were trying to make this more compelling."
Yeah,
It didn't hit for me.
no. It's like it feels basically like they wrote it kind of half-assedly and then just sort of went like, I mean, somebody said like, hey, we need a little bit more, and they were like, I guess we could do this, and they just kind of rolled with it because they didn't have any better ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not quite as
Interestingly,
compelling.
fun little fact here is that the first movie was written by Ross Lamana. Um, and then he's credited as like characters created by in the future movies, but he did not write the screenplay for any of the successive movies. He only wrote the first one. And if you look at what he's written, it's it's a couple TV movies and then Rush Hour, and that's it. Like I don't know who this
Wow,
guy is, but like that's literally all he's written, really.
that's I, that's
He
pretty
was a
crazy.
he did some uncredited script revisions on Star Trek First Contact and Cliffhanger, and then he did Rush Hour, and that's been essentially all that I see of him of any note on IMDb, which is interesting because this is a well written movie.
Yeah,
I think it's
honestly,
pretty strong.
and funnily enough, okay, so like the guy who wrote the second one, Jeff Nathanson, also wrote and like has a long list of credits. He also wrote
Yeah,
the
yeah.
third one, but
Uh
he
huh.
also wrote Catch Me If You Can, pretty good.
That's a pretty good movie. Yeah. What else did
Indiana
he write?
Jones and the
You?
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh,
Uh,
oh,
oh,
that's not
Tower
great.
Heist. Pirates of the
Don't know.
Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Tower Heist is the only I only know Tower Heist because Ben Stiller's in it, and the Ben Stiller tweet situation that happened.
Oh.
they, they,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, they
Yeah, yeah.
started calling
I
that
see.
N Tower Heist. And
That's funny.
I thought that was funny.
That's a good
He
joke.
wrote Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, which is
That can't be one of the good ones, right?
it is not. It is not. It is the one with Javier Bardem. Um, but his masterwork, you could say, really, is The Lion King 2019 and Mufasa The Lion King 24.
Uh, okay, so first question is, How does one even get a screenplay credit for The Lion King 2019? I, I know they changed a couple things and added a couple unnecessary things. I guess that's all he contributed.
He wrote the line where Beyonce was like, "Come on, lions."
Sounds like Matt Damon in The Odyssey.
Oh, oh
Yeah,
Lord.
so no, I think you can tell by his other movies the sort of level of quality we're dealing with Rush Hour 2. Rush Hour 2 is not that bad. Let's to be
Yeah,
clear.
no.
He also wrote Speed 2: Cruise Control. That's the real name
Oh,
of that movie.
wow.
Um,
That's a real name of a real movie that really happened.
Sanders Bollocks was in it. Um, Rush Hour 2 is clearly not that bad, but that's where the step down in quality is coming from. I would say someone who doesn't really quite understand what was so good about the first movie. Before we get too far talking about the plot, someone earlier reminded me when they said never touch a black man's radio. We forgot about that scene. That's a fun
Yes.
little moment where they're
That's
driving around LA, and because Lee doesn't want to listen to Chris Tucker yap anymore, he just turns the radio on. He's just in the
yes.
middle of him talking. He just turns the radio on. It's pretty funny. And it's the Beach Boys and it's California Girls. Great song. And Lee is like, the Beach Boys, great American music. And he's right. But despite him being right, Chris Tucker's like, never touch a black man's radio. You get your ass kicked for that sort of thing. And he's like, I'll show you real music. And then he plays crap instead.
But he
um,
starts dancing. He starts doing the bob and weave a little bit back and forth.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's amusing, but I'm with Jackie Chan on this one. Uh,
Well, and Chris Tucker will be with Jackie Chan on this
yeah,
one at
he'll
the
come
beginning of
around on
Rush
the
Hour
Beach
too.
Boys
And
later,
yeah,
which is good.
he will, and then he won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we? So they do the little war dance. They're bonding a little bit. They're goofing off a little bit. They're sharing some, cross-cultural fun times and banter. Then they're talking, they have their camel's hump and eel and everything. This is where we learn that Chris Tucker's what's his actual name? Like, what's his character's name?
Carter.
Carter. This is where we learned that Carter's dad was killed, or that he was a former police officer. I think we learned that he was killed later when they're on the plane. But we're interspersing a bit of backstory here, why he doesn't have a partner, all that sort of stuff. And then he's like, "Go tell me where the boss is," and he's in the red and jade green restaurant, which is beautiful, by the way. Great set design, very colorful. I like it. And then that's where we learn that Tom Wilkinson is the real big bad guy. And then they, because Chris Tucker, because Carter stands out like a sore thumb, they're like, bring him up here. So they take him and they bring him up to meet with blonde Asian guy and the bad guy, and they're threatening him. And then Jackie Chan comes in to rescue him. And this is where we got the next big Jackie Chan set piece with the gun and the rugs and the chairs and all that sort of
Oh
fun
yeah, this
stuff.
is the one where they loaded up the guy's pant sleeve with baby powder when they go to kick him in the face, so it'll make a whoomp sound effect when it kicks him, which is just a great choice.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like,
This whole
who
set
just
piece
kicked me?
because of this whole set piece
Which one of
because
y'all
of the
kicked?
set design reminds me a lot of Big Trouble in Little China
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
in the best way. And what a great movie. So eventually they manage to escape the restaurant and there's like a gas leak and a fire. So as they're running down the alley, a giant explosion, fireball behind them. Classic stuff. Then they get cornered by the FBI and they're like, "You stupid sons of bitches. We were gonna have the drop on this guy. We would have got his daughter back by now if you guys didn't go in there like Leroy Jenkins and ruin everything." So now we're basically getting to the low point of the movie. Carter is like going to be taken off the case. Lee is going to be sent back to Hong Kong, much to the dismay of the consul. But
Yeah, but the console's not really like he's just like no, I mean, you did kind of fuck it up.
yeah, exactly. That's yeah. He's not thrilled about it, but he's like, "You did fuck up really bad. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to do this, but you got to go home."
Yeah. Sorry, bro. I my hands are kind of tied here.
Mhm.
You did fuck it up. We almost had my daughter back. You know.
Yeah, but you blew it. And then we get a great scene where Tom Wilkinson goes to like console the consulate, and like now that we know he's the villain, it's a really kind of great
Yeah,
ominous scene. Really effective. Good stuff.
very good.
Um,
Yeah. That's a nice way of leveraging it too, right? Cuz like you said, this is a really well-written movie, right? Because like we did reveal that he is the villain, but the characters don't know that yet, so it's a little bit of a way of leveraging the audience's knowledge and kind of like I mean that's a really solid choice, right? Like you wouldn't
yeah.
a lot of people probably wouldn't think to do that, but like that's a good just like it really adds a lot to it, you know. I God, this first one is really kind of great. Like
Yeah, I really do think it's pretty great. It's a lot of fun. It's I'm looking to remind myself of all the beats in the movie. I'm looking at a series of stills of it from Shot Deck, and like god damn, what a beautiful movie.
yeah,
Just the
it's
lighting obviously it's shot on film, which helps a lot, but it's unbelievably well lit. The colors are really vibrant and pop. There's like really nice hair lights and highlights and all that sort of stuff. It's excellent. It reminds me visually, I feel like it has a lot in common with like the first Mission Impossible movie as well.
yeah.
It's got some of that visual DNA in there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a it's similar time, right? It's around the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
whole final set piece in this big museum where they're going to have a big showcase of all the artifacts. There's all this really rich reds and like sort of jade greens everywhere. You know,
Yeah, I
feels
love
very
that. Like this.
Chinese in a good way.
So like when Chris Tucker, okay, when Carter convinces Lee to stay, right? He goes gets on the airplane and convinces him, you know, like what you're gonna let that, you're gonna let this, you're gonna let the fact that you're not officially sanctioned stop you, like that. That's a good pep talk from a guy who clearly would not do that, right? Like I think
Yeah.
that that works really well. And so they go
Yeah.
together to he calls the bomb squad girl, and they go together to the you know big set piece in the museum, with all the colors and everything. And the setup where Jackie or where Lee is like, "Hey, these are very important to the history of my people. This is like a lot. Like all of these
Oh,
artifacts are
yes.
super
Yes.
important. We must like if anything goes wrong, we got to make sure we keep them, we protect them." That sets up a lot of what's gonna like the fight scenes are going to revolve around him trying to trying to like keep a like a giant vase, right? He's like pushes it up, punches a couple people, and then catches it again before it hits the ground. Or he like pushes it over to one side of the thing that it's sitting on, and he has to run around it and fight guys and then catch it before it falls, right? And in the meantime, he's opening himself up to being hit. And so like I mean it's
He tanks a lot of punches to the gut because
yeah,
he's trying to like hold up this all these priceless artifacts. It's such a great choice because it makes all those fight scenes way more dynamic. It's leveraging the environment and the props and also giving him a secondary goal. And I
yeah,
can totally believe that he actually feels really strongly about it as well because he's
yeah.
sort of very proud of his country's heritage and all that sort of stuff. And
And
so
then
he's trying to, get the little girl and fight off all these guys, but also make sure and it's a good balance because some of them just do get destroyed anyway, but not
well, like
all of them.
one of the one with the vase where he's like holding it up and trying to like make sure that it doesn't break. He finally fights off all the guys who are hitting him as he's holding it up, and then somebody just shoots the vase anyway, and it like it kind of just explodes. And he's just
Yeah,
like, ah,
and he
shit.
he gives this great his reaction's great. But like I think it's a really great balance because he does like you do feel the sacrifice in that some of them do get destroyed, right? And you feel the weight of that for his character. But also he does manage to save a lot of them, you know? And so like he gets to be kind of moderately successful and it's just I don't know. There's a balance there that's really quite effective. Eventually, uh Chris Tucker Carter. His name is Carter. I'm not going to keep calling him Chris Tucker. Carter comes up to a van where he believes the girl is being held, and he has a great moment here. Great little setup and payoff, but also great resolution and great use of his yapping ability. He comes up on one of the goons who's guarding the girl, and he just starts yapping at him. And the guy's kind of disarmed by it. He doesn't think he's a threat because he thinks he's just some random obnoxious American, right?
Yeah.
And then he does the Jackie Chan disarm, steals the gun from him. He's like, ah, I bet you didn't think I could do that. It's great. Excellent.
Yeah, I like that.
It's incredible. And then he finds the girl in the back. He opens the van. He's like, "Hey, little girl, I'm with the FBI. You're safe now. We're gonna get you out of here." And he tries to move the vest, and she's like, "No, no, 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 no. They said if it moves, it'll blow up." And he's like, "All right, well then we're gonna leave that on for now."
Yeah, let's get this off you. No, they said if they take it off, it will blow up. Okay, we're just gonna leave that on. It's like he kind
Yeah.
of rolls with it, and like again, showing the benefits of his chatty nature, right? Is that
Hmm.
he can kind of diffuse situations, even if it can be too much at times, right? Like he can keep
Yeah,
the
like I
calm in the
really
room.
like that I mean, like he's kind of like smiling through the tension, but like I like that he stays calm there for the sake of the girl. That's a nice little
Yeah,
moment for him. He's just like, well, all right, then we're gonna leave it on.
we get a little we get a little bit of resolution to the bomb lady's her arc, right? Because she has to
Yeah,
come
yeah.
in and she's been pretty nervous about it, but she manages to defuse the bomb vest, and then we get
She's like
another.
singing a little song to herself. That's
Yeah,
a nice little touch.
yeah.
She
That's
cuts the right wire, but of course the remote detonator can go off at any moment, so there's still that threat. So Jackie Chan takes the vest and he's gonna go try to find some area far away from people, have it explode. In the meantime, to get there, he has to fight people while holding the vest and like
yes,
using it kind of as a shield, like, no, don't shoot, and like hitting people with it and stuff like that. Pretty funny. And this is where he's also trying to protect the vase and it just explodes. It gets blown up,
yeah. Well,
or it gets shot up.
I also like the part too where the like Chris Tucker and the little girl with the vest. He gets her to call the bluff of the guy who has the detonator because he thinks the girl is far away, not in the room, right? So they they bring her out and they start screaming like, "Yeah, push the button. Go ahead, push it. Push the button." Yeah, go ahead. Just yeah. And she's like, "Yeah, push the freaking button." And he has to like calm her down because she's getting too into it, which is
Yeah,
another fun touch, you know.
yeah.
But then he's running around with the bomb vest, like yeah, he's got like
That
now
the
he's
girl gets such little screen time, but she's very well
she really kills
characterized.
it, man. I mean, like the
Yeah,
meme that spawned from her in the back seat singing the song is really fun. Like earlier
yeah,
in the movie.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love that scene. I think she does a great job.
Oh, we didn't even talk about it, but, like, where the title comes from,
Oh,
like, they're
yeah,
driving through like, it's kind of funny, like, oh my god, rush hour LA traffic is just hell on earth, right? But she's in the back seat singing along to what song is it? It's
it's
some, like,
Mariah
R&B.
Carey, right? It's
Right.
yeah.
That makes sense 'cause, Brett Ratner did a lot of Mariah Carey music videos,
Oh, well,
either before or after, I'm not sure which. Anyway, but, she's singing along to Mariah Carey in the back seat, and then a police officer kinda directs them over, and it's like, "Is there a problem, officer?" And he goes, "Ah, rush hour," and then shoots them both, which is a great, great, like, cold, brutal way of setting it off, right? Setting the plot in motion. It's just a fun way of using a title too. As far as, like, movie titles said in the movies go, it's a pretty good one.
yeah. Yeah, I like that. Just Rush Hour. Bam, shoots him in the face. Great.
Yeah,
Yeah, great stuff.
good.
But yeah,
Anyway,
so
we're
like
back to the
yeah, we're back to the
final
final
set
fight.
piece.
He's got the bomb vest. He's running around. Uh, he ends up at the top of the building. The bomb like the vest goes off and a bunch of money starts flying down. It's a good big like bombastic thing. The bad guy falls off the roof and leaves. Oh, he falls off the roof with the bomb vest. That's when it
Mhm.
goes off and all the money comes flying down. But
Chris I'm gonna keep calling him Chris Tucker, I can't help myself. Chris Tucker, like, sees all the money from falling from the sky, he's like, "Thank you, God," and he, like,
thank
starts
you,
putting
guy.
some of it
Yeah, he
in his
grabs some,
shirt.
puts it in his pockets. Yeah, that's great. And then Jackie is hanging off of the pipe, and like this stunt is just amazing,
It's
dude.
so
Like
cool.
it's so
Yeah.
cool. We get so many angles of him just falling off of the like when his hands slip and he has to slide down the banner and right into Chris Tucker. Like it's great. It's a great climactic scene, and then they become friends and they go on vacation to Hong Kong together. And yeah, I mean, and like he's just like, how long is this flight anyways? It's about 18 hours. And then he puts on his headphones and starts singing War. And he's like, oh hell no, stewardess, get me another seat. And yeah,
And
so we've
that's the
got our
movie.
and that's the movie, and we got our perfect setup into Rush Hour 2. Gee, I wonder how they're gonna do with that one.
Well, as we move into that, just to put a pin on it, Rush Hour 1, pretty goddamn great movie.
Yeah,
Very funny. It really has like the perfect balance between the two like characters and like their very competing dynamics. You know, it's just well directed, well shot. It's funny, it's tense. The action set pieces are incredible. You know, it's just really kind of firing on all cylinders, and it's funny in hindsight that people were so spoiled by good movies back then. They didn't know how much worse it was going to get that they thought this movie was just all right. You know, that's
seriously.
crazy. That's crazy to me. Anyway,
Yeah,
great movie. So, you know, Rush Hour 2 picks up basically right where this movie
it's
left
literally
off.
it picks up 3 days after. They
Yeah.
say they've been there for 3 days, and Chris Tucker is already complaining that he has not had enough time to vacation. He has not had
Yes.
enough vacationing to be done. Like he's barely over the jet lag. Right?
Mhm. Well, the first thing we see after a great little opening title sequence in Hong Kong is we see a woman in a mysterious blonde wig deliver a package that ends up exploding a giant what would you call it? Is it an embassy or
It's the yeah, I
the
think
American embassy
it's the
in
American
Hong Kong?
embassy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, two translators were killed. Which okay, here's the thing. The plot for the last movie, the villain's plot made sense, right? You kind of got what was what he was after and his tactics for doing it. It's a kidnapping that ties directly in because Lee has a close relationship with the little girl. Carter wants to be
It
in the
makes sense
FBI.
why he's brought all the way from
Yeah,
China to yeah.
yeah. Carter wants to be in the FBI, and he wants to do his dad proud, or do the memory of his father proud. Um, there's this one. The plot is that some triads have got their hands on a very realistic looking printing press. The only way that you can tell the money is not fake is by setting it on fire, right?
Hmm.
And so in order to
It burns pink. The fake
yeah,
money burns pink in the way the normal money just burns black. The
yes.
ink does, yeah.
Yeah. The In order to keep this operation under wraps, the plan is because the two translators that were killed were not actually translators. They were undercover operatives for the Secret Service who are trying to get the plates back. So the plan is to just bomb them. Like, basically, like, instead of assassinating them in some other more direct way, they just essentially launch a terrorist attack and hope that they will be the only ones that die I mean, I guess they really don't care if anybody else dies, but like they're targeting specific people, but using like the most clumsy sort of it's like an area of effect weapon that is just not like you don't have any guarantee you're going to get the two that you need to get with that bomb. Like you don't know that it's going to get to them
No.
and before it goes off. It's
Especially because
clumsy.
if I remember correctly, she just drops it off with, like, the secretary.
Yeah.
So, not incredibly targeted.
And just a little bit and it's not like totally unbelievable, right? I'm not saying that this is like the worst thing that's ever happened, like one of the shittiest
I'm glad
plots,
you're
right?
not saying that.
Um it's just not it's not it's not as good. The
Yeah,
stakes are
and
not as
that's
high,
everything about it is going to be,
personally.
like, not as good. There are moments where I think they recapture the magic. We're gonna jump ahead really quick. One of the final stunts in the entire movie where they like after the whole place is exploded and they're like they're hanging from the sign out in Las Vegas and the Mack truck is coming and then they push apart. Jackie Chan runs along the side of the 18-wheeler while Chris Tucker gets like ragdolled
Yes.
along the side of it. That
That's
is
fun.
like okay, that's the magic of the first movie, right? Where like Chris Tucker gets like in funny ways, just get like beat up and ragdolled around and all sorts of stuff like that, and kind of humiliated in some funny ways, while Jackie Chan is actually doing all the impressive stuff. And so like that little moment's like, okay, I recognize that. That's the spirit of the first movie.
Yeah.
And there are moments throughout. There's a couple bit characters that are pretty funny. There are some action set pieces. The action set pieces, though just not as good as the first movie, are still really solid. I think that's maybe the best thing the second movie has going for it.
Yeah. And
Because as has been mentioned and agreed by you fine people at home in the chat, the character work is not nearly as good.
no, it's not nearly as strong. The stakes aren't as personal for either of them, and
Mhm.
Chris Tucker has, like we said, pretty much fuck all to do. Really, like
Ultimately,
he's
yeah.
not important in the story, and
He's just kind of a clown, and
yeah,
that's he's a bit of a clown in the first movie, but it's more than that.
he's a
And in this
motivated clown in the first one.
yes.
Like there's something for him like to aim for. In this, his aim is like, oh, I just want to be I want not to be doing this. Is like his
At
whole
first, it's
thing.
I want not to be doing this, and then later he's like, "Oh, I've been deputized into the Secret Service. That sounds pretty cool." He's still kind of like just after the glory or whatever, and like he generally speaking wants to back up his friend because he likes
He
like
likes
that's
Lee.
his
Yeah.
partner, but like doesn't really go much deeper than that, unfortunately.
Yeah, but like they have a falling out here because like his whole thing is like, oh, you're supposed to be showing me a good time in China, and all we've been doing is working your cases, right? And then he starts taking him around to places. And he's like, oh, you brought me to a brothel. Oh, cool. Which like that's also weird. That's a weird choice, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I
Well,
know
I think it's time to mention this that not too long ago I mentioned that there's at least in the visuals a lot of the DNA of a Mission Impossible in the first Rush Hour. There's a lot there's a lot of the DNA of Mission Impossible 2 in this movie in that it's very horny for no reason.
yes.
Like so much more than the first movie. Rush Hour 2 is just has its mind completely on having sex with sexy Asian and one Latina
Latina,
lady.
yeah,
Yeah.
who like
That's
Latina Sandra Bullock is.
yeah. Yeah. It's a very horny movie by comparison. Maybe not quite as horny as Mission Impossible 2. That's kind of a
That's yeah. Well, that's
high
a
bar
high
to
bar to clear. Yeah,
yeah.
but this is a very horny movie, and like one of the main lines between Chris Tucker and the Asian baddie who's blowing everybody up and has like that really sadistic, cruel streak to her is that he yells at her when he beats like when he thinks he's killed her, right? He's like, we could have been a good couple, we could have had something together. And it's funny, right? But it's just like it's very unmotivated because it's not like there
Yeah,
was chemistry
yeah.
between them. It's not like she was
No.
seducing him
No, he
to
just
like
because she's hot, that's
yeah,
why he said that.
yeah,
And, like, it's a funny joke in isolation. It's not very well supported by the movie, it's not really in character. There's a way where we could tweak some things that would actually be more because if, for example, she, for whatever reason in the plot, had to kind of pretend to like him at several times, something like
yeah,
that. We've
something
seen that
even a
sort of thing in
little
the
bit
movie
more
before.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we
happened.
could we could justify that joke more. Now, who is it? Jay Jameson in the chat says, I like the eye candy. We're sort of starved for that nowadays. I get it. I get that it's
No, look,
refreshing
I get
to
it.
see movies from this period and be like, oh wow, we were more willing to just do the sort of eye candy, the wish fulfillment stuff for teenage boys. Like I get it,
Yeah.
right? It's good. But it is kind of an odd departure from the first movie, and that's a lot of what Chris Tucker
Yeah,
has to do. That's all he really gets to do.
that's all Carter's character is invested in whatsoever in the movie. And I think that
For
that's really where the problem is, honestly. Like,
yes.
it's not that the eye candy is there. If it was more motivated, yeah, like we'd probably be like, yeah, yeah, this is like from a, yeah, this is an example of, from a different time, why bring it back, make movies like this again, kind of thing, right? I would like to see movies take more advantage of that again, but it is just a little bit jarring at how consistently horny. Like the motivation of every scene he's in is basically just like he wants to get laid.
Yeah. It's more so that he doesn't have anything more meaningful to do for a
Yeah.
lot of it.
Yeah.
And, like, that's sort of the
If that was
problem
like the
is that
side thing, is that
yeah.
he's like
If
he's
there's remember when I said that it's all about the proportions being out of whack in this movie?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
what I
that's kind
mean.
of what it
I'm
is, yeah.
fine with some titillation, don't get me wrong. The proportions are way off,
Yeah.
you know?
And I do agree with you, Jay. Things are a little too sexless today, and I think we should bring some of that back. Maybe not I don't want it dialed up to this level, but I do want it dialed up higher than it is now, and I'm with you on that for sure. The
Yeah.
Hispanic secret agent woman in this film can get it. I mean, yeah, dude,
Yeah,
like that, yeah.
feeling daring today, are we? It's
Wow,
like you see her
what
and
a
you go
hot take.
the wood
All right,
meme.
what is she like? Your hear me out, like hear me out. The Hispanic lady from Rush Hour 2.
Yeah.
Really? Oh wow, how dangerous. How risky of an opinion. It's funny.
But
Yeah,
that
I mean,
is
like
a
there are some
lot
good
of the movie.
stunts. There are some good
Yeah, yeah,
stunts.
yeah.
I
I
love the
I
scene where
think
he's climbing up the bamboo scaffolding at the beginning. I think that that's
yes.
fucking awesome, dude. The fight on the bamboo scaffolding is so cool. Um, I
I think the stunts and the action set pieces are the best thing about this movie, even if they're not as good as the first one. I think that's what's still really strong.
agreed. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So like, and again, there are some really great jokes and like and moments in isolation in the movie, right? Like the gay guy who they buy the clothes from in Vegas, right? He's so funny. That is such a great
Oh, Jeremy Piven,
Jeremy
yeah.
Piven. Yeah.
He okay, because I had heard Jeremy Piven say that, like, he didn't really have many lines in the script, and, like, really it was his job to come up and say, like, "How can I help you, gentlemen?" Maybe even that the original scene ended with Chris Tucker saying, "I nothing but silk touches this, and get something from the kids department for my friend here." Like, maybe that's where it was going to end, but Jeremy Piven just kinda kept riffing and doing the
Yes.
very, very, very gay thing. Like, he's so funny.
It's a
He's like, "You got
scene
the
stealer,
mochaccino
dude.
face, the beautiful skin, and the big broad shoulders." Like, "How
Some
big
people
is the
think it's
waist?
tacky.
Let's go in and find out."
Yeah,
Some
how big
people
is
think it's tacky, but I love it when couples match or
because he
dress
gives it said
alike.
this is my partner.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like
He's
some
like,
people think it's
"Many
tacky.
men are chasing after us." It's like, "As
As
they
well they
should."
should be.
He
the
steals the
outtake
scene.
the
It's so
outtake is
funny.
so funny too, where he's just like, I just want to wrap you up and slather you up in baby oil and smack your little bottom. And like Chris Tucker can't hold it in. He's like cracking up.
Yeah.
It's it's great. He's
But then
steal.
because then Chris Tucker laughs, but Jeremy Piven keeps going, like, reacting to it as if he's still in character. It's really impressive. Like, it's some A tier S
It's
tier
great,
riffing.
man.
I really like when he's "Let's get you in some let's put a dead animal on you, like croc skin, buttercream, buttercream, croc skin, buttercream."
We're gonna
It's
put a
great.
dead animal on you.
He's like, "How big is the waist? Let's go in." And he goes to grab his waist and he, like,
And
fights
then
him off.
like
And then
Jenny.
Jeremy Piven goes into like a karate pose. He's like, "I like this guy. It's got some fire in him. I'm gonna go pick out some items." And all his S's like are coming out. It's
Oh
great.
god, it's so good. Yeah, like there are really good jokes in the movie. Lots of really
Yeah,
good jokes.
yeah. I really like as far as like bit part one-off scenes that are very, very funny, little actor cameos in it. I really love Don Cheadle in Chinaman
Yeah,
Face.
John
Uh,
Cheadle and Scheidemann face.
he's a cheeb or whatever we're calling the Chinese equivalent of a weeb, where like he knows kung fu. He's actually really good at it, and he's kind of like almost implied to be equally matched with Jackie Chan. That's
That's
hysterical.
yeah, that's
And he's
absolutely
got the
like
little circular eyeglasses that are he's like hanging low on his nose, and the
he's
hat.
like living his best Republic era.
Yeah. Oh, it's
It's
incredible.
great.
Really funny. And Don Cheadle is very funny just in general, but he's very funny in this movie. And it's like when he showed up, because by this point I had grown pretty annoyed with Chris Tucker in this movie. I was like, oh, can he replace Chris Tucker? I would like that more, honestly. I would like Don Cheadle as a Cheeb and Jackie Chan going around solving crimes and doing kung fu together. Uh, I was
That would
experiencing
be
Chris
awesome,
Tucker
actually.
fatigue at this point
Yeah, a little bit.
because
I can
because
see
okay,
why.
so one of the first things we see, when it's like, "Come on, man, let's go have some fun." They're gonna go to I think it's a bar first, and then they go to a brothel later, right? But they go to a bar. It's like a karaoke bar, right? And because Jackie Chan has heard that there was a bombing of the embassy. He doesn't tell Chris Tucker this because he's keeping up the ruse for no especially good reason that he's not working a case, even though he is working a case. I don't really know why he lies to him. Doesn't really feel in character for him all that much. Anyway, they go to a karaoke bar because he's going to investigate some leads because this is where some of the criminal triad gang guys hang out. And so he's like, "You stay here," but then Chris Tucker can't help himself. He hears a guy butchering a Michael Jackson song. I think it's "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough"
It is.
at karaoke. Which, first of all, the Chinese guy singing "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough" I found very charming. I liked that. That was pretty funny. Chris Tucker is like, "This guy sucks," and so he goes up there to start singing the same song. um, this was rough. This was hard to watch. Okay, because
Look,
he's
I'll
doing
tell
the
you what.
what?
As a young lad of 9, this cracked me up.
Okay,
As a young, I can. This is a bit, and you know what? A lot of this movie, I think, is the target demographic is the 9-year-old boy, right? Like,
sure,
yeah, a lot of
sure,
what Chris
yeah.
Tucker is doing is for the wee lads. This was super cringe this time around. I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
oh, I remember this
First
being
of all,
so much
yeah,
funnier.
yeah, it's okay. There's a couple things wrong with it. So he's going to show up the guy who was first of all, the scene goes on forever and it's very uncomfortable and awkward and cringe because he's just embarrassing himself constantly and it's not especially funny. But anyway, he goes up there to like sing the exact same song but better. Now he's doing all the moves and stuff like that, all the little Michael Jackson isms that we got like a small taste of in the first movie, and it was fun then. Um, but he's also like singing, but they auto tune him.
Yeah,
They
the auto
it's
tune
just
is really
it's
noticeable.
glaring too because
Yeah,
this is like what,
one
2001?
2001.
Yeah,
This is
so
August 9, 2001. We are 1 month.
right,
We are one
right.
month from the
Now I'm not
change.
saying this scene caused 9/11, but
You know, I wouldn't.
no, like okay, so they throw a really obvious, like almost vocoder level auto tune on him, like when he's supposed to be
So-
singing karaoke because they want him in the scene to be singing way better than the other guy, but he can't sing way better than the other guy in real life, so they auto tune him, and
The
it's
scene I
just
think also killed that poor Asian guy who went on American Idol and sang Ricky Martin, because like
yeah, yeah,
this was clearly on everybody's mind when he was up on that stage, and so like
yeah.
I remember that little bit of that poor dude, because I revisited it recently because I was like, oh yeah, I remember that was terrible. It was like one of the worst. It was awful. One of the worst performances in American Idol history. And then I went and checked it, and I was like, oh, it's actually really not that bad.
Yeah.
It's like a karaoke singer who can barely like an Asian karaoke guy who can barely speak English. It's just
Yeah.
that he has an Asian accent, and it reminds everybody of this scene from Rush Hour. That's the only reason that that it made as big of a splash as it did. I also just imagined somebody like basically clipping this movie so that Chris Tucker singing that the song and like the auto tune, and then it's just Hassan being like, fuck it, dude, I'm gonna say it, America deserved 9/11.
Trayvon Washington
Oh
says Chris
god.
Tucker's karaoke scene didn't cause 9/11, but it certainly didn't delay or prevent it either. True,
Well, yeah, that's true.
true,
True. We can't
so
know.
true.
Could it
And
have
so,
could not
but it
shooting
doesn't.
that scene have stopped it? We can't know.
We can't know. It's just one of the tragedies of time. You know, We can't know what could have been. But, so after doing his, like, "See, look how much better I am at singing Michael Jackson," it's like, this is actually less charming than the first guy, if I'm being honest with you. Then he continues to just, like, be really loud and obnoxious at, like, like a, a hostage audience of people all just sitting in silence, and he's trying to, like, communicate with them in his really bad Chinese, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you thought you said this, but what you actually said was this absurd sentence. Isn't that funny?" And then
Yeah, like if
eventually, like,
so
it just goes on and on and on.
yeah, so that was something that they leveraged a lot early on in the movie, right? Um, when he uses the phrase book to try to pick up the girls in traffic, which
Yeah.
bold move, right?
You know,
what do you
you miss
think?
100% of the shots you don't take.
But they basically do the thing where it's like, okay, he's speaking bad Chinese, and like what we're gonna do is like it's gonna be this thing where it's like, oh, you just said I just invited them to get dinner, and he goes, no, you invited them to get naked and sacrifice a small goat, and it's like, I don't, okay, like I don't buy that that's what happened there. Like if anything, he spoke gibberish, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
unless
Yeah.
you actually wrote it that like and yeah
I
like
just
that
don't
that's
believe they wrote it
yeah
like that with that level of care. I mean, like,
no,
it's
it doesn't feel
hypothetically
like
possible,
it's
but it just doesn't
yeah
feel.
like I suppose theoretically, and if there's any Chinese speakers in the chat who can correct the record on
Got a
this,
lot of
please
those
feel
too.
free. Yeah, I know we're really popular over there. If there's anybody who can like correct the record on that, feel free. But like the second time they do it at the bar, right, is like he goes, it almost feels ADR'd as if they tested which one got the biggest laugh because he walks over
Mhm.
to Jackie Chan and his Jackie Chan's back is to the camera so we can't see him talking, right? And like he kind of goes like, "What did I just say?" He says, "You just asked everybody to pick up their samurai swords and shave your butt." And it's like, yeah, that's a 9-year-old. That's for a
Yeah,
9-year-old. Like a
it's
9-year-old
very
would find that funny.
yes.
But, like, I
I
don't
think
buy that that's what he said, right? Like, I
no.
don't actually think you wrote the Chinese to be, like, that level, like, of funny, right? Like, or that level of ridiculously off. Like, if anything, he's
No,
just kind
yeah,
of going, like, basically, like, if a Chinese guy was making fun of an American and went, "Go blah, 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 blah," something like that, right? Like, it
yeah.
just wouldn't I don't know. It doesn't sound it just doesn't seem like yeah, it's really rough. It's a really rough
It's rough.
bit.
It's very it's kinda amateurish. It's like someone else came along and tried to figure out what worked about the first Rush Hour movie, but was 9 years old, and, like, this is what you get. Like, I think the more I think about it, the more it's entirely clear that the perfect age demographic for this movie is somewhere between, like, 9 and 15.
Yeah. I like it is and it's kind of a waste, right? Because
Yeah.
you think about like what we did in the first one where we've got Lee in America and he's, kind of he likes American culture, but he's not super familiar with it. He's going around to all the, he doesn't understand the nuances of Black Los Angeles, right? He doesn't get what's
Mhm.
going on, But they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do that for Carter in this movie, probably because those nuances are going to be lost on a broad audience, right? Like, and
Yes.
they
Yes.
probably went like, there's no way that we're going to be able to make this like those nuances aren't going to be understandable to me, right? So what we're going
Yeah.
to do is we're just going to be like we're going to make it so that he says silly things to Chinese people. Like he can't really speak the language, and he's going to say goofy shit that's going to make the kids in the audience laugh because we're aiming at the broad audience, right? And
Yeah.
it's like you don't have to go whole hog into the first way where we're exploring the nuances of Chinese culture and social structure and culture and everything like that. But you don't have to go full blue with it either.
Yeah.
Like there's a balance that could be struck here that I feel like it could work, and we're just not.
Yeah. I do think you're right that part of it is that well, correctly assumed that most Americans watching this movie would not know enough about Chinese culture to know about
Yeah,
any of the taboos that he's bumping up against, but it just feels like everything got way more immature and amateurish.
Yeah. Well, and if you're gonna
Especially
do
when
the
it comes to Chris Tucker,
yeah,
especially when it comes to
well, and
him.
if you're gonna do the scenes where it's like, oh, you just ask everybody to pick up samurai swords and shave your butt, you might as well just have him be like, no, you see, you just said something that you just said like this incredibly disrespectful thing. Like you just
Yeah.
like you might as well have him do that instead. You know, like
Mhm.
but we're going for this really, it's blue. We're going for blue comedy here, and I don't know. It's just it's a little lazy. It feels a little lazy. The whole actually, that's pretty much my problem with the whole first half of this movie is that it feels a little lazy. We're just
Yeah.
kind of we're
Except
reusing a
for the
lot of
action set pieces. Those don't
yeah,
feel
those don't
lazy.
feel lazy, but the writing does. You know, that's really
Uh-huh.
that's it. That's the problem that I have with the half of the movie.
And he has it's not like he doesn't have funny lines. He does have some pretty good moments every once in a while that make you go like, "Oh, that's the character from the first movie. That you got that one right." You know, some things he says like it is a weird turn, but like when he's at the brothel and they open up the curtains, there's a whole bunch to choose from, and he's like negotiating for how many he can get to massage him at the same time. Like some of that stuff feels a bit like it's still broad, it's still maybe weirdly horny and immature compared to the first movie, but it does at least there are moments where it's like, I can believe his character said that. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. Especially like, and then there's the fight scene where they're wearing the robes and like, I mean, there's some fun stuff in there, but like the way he goes over to, okay, so clearly, his partner that he knows and has built up a rapport with at this point is telling him, "Don't mess with that guy over there." And Chris Tucker is just like, "Well, I'm retarded in this movie, so who cares?" And he walks over to that criminal boss guy and just starts yelling at him, and then
Smashes his laptop.
and smashes his laptop and then is shocked and surprised to learn that all the guys wearing matching robes that all look like generic Chinese goons are in fact generic Chinese goons. He's like, "Oh man, you didn't tell me he rolled like that." It's like, dude, you were not this stupid before. You weren't.
Yeah.
You weren't brilliant, but you were not this stupid.
Yeah, well, and like he was brash, right? Like he walked
Yes.
into a gangster restaurant and demanded the head of the gang, the head of the gang see him, right? But you got the sense that he knew what he was doing was dangerous, but he was going to do it anyway, right? And
Yeah.
that he was going to wing it.
Yeah.
But losing his temper and smashing the laptop is a little bit we're going a little far. It's a little too
Yeah.
much. And then for him to immediately turn around and be like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize." It's like
That's
weak.
on
It's a
you.
little weak. It's a little weak.
It's weak. Yeah.
It's the
We couldn't think of a
pieces are
better
there.
way of getting to this set piece, basically. And like once we get into the set piece, there's a lot of fun stuff, right? And it's funny because they're in like the sort of like pastel colored robes and stuff like that. And at the end, they get cornered and then they get like their clothes taken away and dropped off in the middle of a highway completely naked as a sort of humiliation thing. Like that's kind of funny. You know, there's some good stuff. But then there's another like mailed bomb device that goes off, and then for slightly contrived reasons, Lee believes that that bomb killed Chris Tucker. No, it didn't.
I
And
do
so he
like
will.
his like sad his like all he wanted was some mushu, which is and I do
Yeah,
like that. I think that's fun.
there's some funny moments, right? Like oh, like he got killed. All he really wanted was to fuck some Hong Kong prostitutes, but
Okay,
now he's
Filthy
dead.
Casual said, "You all just wanted him to say chink." Look, okay, look.
At
In the
least
first
once. Come
movie,
on, is
in
that
the
too
first
much to
movie, we
ask?
got Jackie Chan saying the N word. Is it too much to ask?
Is that really
Is
too
it
much to
too much
ask?
to
I'm
ask
not so
for
sure.
Chris Tucker to say chink? I
Just
don't think so.
once.
Just once, just
Yeah.
just once for the
Come
heck
on.
of it. I mean, we are gonna get the he punches Jackie in the face in the massage parlor and then says, "Oh, y'all look alike," which
Yeah.
is pretty
Yeah.
close. We're getting close.
Yeah.
I'm there for it. We're pretty close.
I don't really know that him saying the word chink is any really meaningfully worse or different than Jackie Chan saying nigga in the first movie,
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know. I feel like we could have had that. Come on.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Why not, right? We used to
There's a
have
way to
fun.
make
This
it
is
work.
2000 this is pre 9/11, right? Maybe a couple of the unbelievably horny moments just to give me just one chink. That's all I want.
Yeah, just one. Just drop it once. Hard CH.
Anyway,
Real quick,
um,
Griffly Bear is asking, are you guys saying that Rush Hour 2 is the Joker Foley Dukes of Rush Hour
no,
cinematic
not
universe?
nearly
No,
that bad.
not even close.
Not even
It's
close.
not that bad. Rush Hour 3, however, that's the Joker Foley Ducks of this universe, and it's not even fairly close. I mean, it is
No.
insane how bad that movie is.
This is just a step down in every way.
Yeah.
It's not an awful movie. It's a pretty I would call it like a mediocre movie, really.
Yeah.
There's a lot of there's plenty of good stuff in it, but especially when you just immediately watched the first movie, seeing this is just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this isn't as good
Yeah.
in any department, in any uh aspect of the filmmaking and storytelling. This is just not as good."
Yeah, the script's a bit weaker and the characters are just not quite there comparatively. I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like
What's
a
a better
sequel that
comparison for, like, a modern movie? What's a better one?
ooh, okay. Probably like maybe say like a John Wick 2.
I haven't seen
I mean,
any of the John Wick movies, if I'm being honest.
I it might be more like that. I mean, yeah, it's just everything is a little bit of a step down. That's
Yeah.
really the really where what it is. It's not like this movie is abysmal or anything like that. It's just
No,
you know,
no.
there's some good fun to be had. It's just like
Yes.
it feels like we regressed a little on everything, and
Yeah.
it's not quite as strong. It's not accomplishing as much.
It's
It's
getting
fine.
Flanderized. It's not completely Flanderized, but it's on
Yeah,
its way.
we haven't gone full Rush Hour 3 yet, but you know, we're building the roadmap for it. So yeah,
Yeah, Jay Jameson says that if once you abandon the characters, what's left? The characters are the foundation of the story. I think that's generally too true. We don't completely ruin the characters. We're not assassinating the characters. We're regressing them and
and we just well, yeah,
broadening
and we
them
just
out.
like we didn't really have in the writers' room. The answer is like, well, we didn't really know what to do with them. We
Yeah.
didn't really know what to do. We had to get this movie out. The first one was a big hit, so we just kind of slapped this together. We figured the the dynamic duo thing would carry some of it, and it does. I mean, the dynamic between the two of them, they clearly are having fun. They clearly work well together. It's just that like overall the story beats just aren't giving them as much to recommend it, you know? It's
No.
still fine. Yeah, you can get
Yeah,
some
it's still fun.
enjoyment out of it, and it would be, as somebody
I
pointed out,
laughed
yeah.
out loud a few times, which is, still pretty good.
Yeah. There's some great moments, and there are
Yeah.
some good stunts. Um, it's just yeah, it's just all around. It's a little weaker, and that adds up. That adds up over the
So,
runtime.
after the bomb is delivered to the precinct's headquarters, and Jackie Chan believes that Chris Tucker is dead. Chris Tucker goes on a little weird side quest where he buys some new clothes, and he goes to a lady trying to find what's he trying to find, and she keeps trying to like cut off a chicken's head for him.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
that joke didn't really quite work for me either.
yeah.
'Cause, like,
I was kind of just like,
he demands that she let the chicken go after just describing that, like, "Hey, I like my chicken, like, dead and deep fried. I don't want a live chicken." And then she goes to cut its head off, and then he's like, "Don't you kill that chicken. Let that chicken go or else." I'm like,
well, yeah, and he's like,
"Guys, do
there's
you
more that
don't
we
see
could
how
do with
that
this, right?
contradicts a little
There's
bit?"
more
Yeah.
that we could do with this because what is he there for? He's there because he's lost and looking for the brothel massage parlor, right? He's asking random strangers on the street to point him towards the brothel.
Yeah.
So it's like there's so much more that we could do with that level, that dynamic, right? Is like, yeah, no, I mean like he's asking people to point him towards the pervert capital of Hong Kong. You know? Like
Yeah.
and we know that it's because he left his passport there being a perv, but like they don't. So you like some funny looks or some like her being like no, not that kind of girl, something like that, right? Like we could do more with that dynamic that we're just not really leveraging. So
Instead, the whole bit is that he's trying to talk to her. She doesn't understand. anything he's saying, let alone the word like brothel or anything like that. So she's just like, "You want me to kill this chicken in front of you?" He's like, "No," and that's that bit. It's like,
And well,
I
then he
mean,
ends up walking around with a
chicken.
with a chicken. Yeah, and
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, it's something. It's it's first draft type stuff. Not terrible. We could have done more. So eventually, they will descend upon a yacht that is holding a big party. For varying reasons, they are both convinced, though they don't know that the other is going to be there, that they should be here in terms of like trying to figure out what's going on. I don't remember exactly
the
how they
other thing
both
that
get there.
okay, so the other thing about those interactions with right, like the whole the whole thing with him being that he doesn't know any Chinese, so he's just bumbling his way through this city without like sounding like a complete buffoon trying to practice it or use it right out of the phrase book, and nobody understands him. So I like it took me a second here to remember that this is Hong Kong, which was under British rule
Yeah,
for a
no,
hundred
yeah.
years. And so I had to Google this, and it's like actually in most of the busy areas of Hong Kong, people can reasonably understand English.
Yeah,
Like they know it. Like they may not speak it fluently, but like it was around long, and especially at this time, around long enough that people would be able to to at
understand
least
what you're
understand
saying.
what he's
Yeah,
saying or like grasp the basics of it, right? So it's like that's a little now that I'm thinking about that too. I'm like, oh, that's a little weak. That's really the best we could come up with is just that he can't speak Chinese and so nobody can understand him. Like really, come on, man. There has to have been more. We could have a little bit more effort on that would have been nice.
I agree. I agree. Where we are, moving along, they end up on the yacht, sort of investigate. Um, Chris Tucker strikes up a conversation with the hear me out Latino secret agent lady, who he doesn't know is a secret agent at this point, chatting her up because he's just like, pretty lady, I like pretty lady. And it's like, yeah, me too, brother. And so, meanwhile, Jackie
He
Chan,
tries to pretend that it's his yacht too,
yeah,
which is like, yeah,
it's a fun gag, where he's like trying to act like it's his yacht, and then she's like, "Well, that's weird because like it's my friend's yacht." He's like, "What? I must be on the wrong yacht, man." I guess that's why my key didn't work. It's like
that's
it's
funny.
dumb, but
That's
it's
it's
funny.
dumb, but that's working for me, honestly.
Yeah,
I guess that must be why my key didn't work. And then but the threatening way that she ends up getting around to like when and this is really like the loosest possible connection for how this is going to continue, right? Is her friend comes up to her, and as it turns out, he just happens to be a guy who owns, quote unquote, owns half of LA. So there's the
yeah.
very
Las Vegas.
loose connect.
No, it is LA. Sorry,
Yeah,
it's
he says
LA.
LA.
Sorry,
But
you're
it's
right.
that's the very loose connection because Carter is from LA. So he knows the guy who owns LA, and that's how he's going to play a role in the investigation moving forward. And it's
Yep.
just not
It's cheaper.
really working. It's a lot cheaper than it was in the first one. Um, but
He
like
ends
the
up.
threatening way that she says, like, "Oh, this is just some guy who got on the wrong yacht." Like the way she says that, I'm like, "Oh, that's actually kind of ominous. That's pretty. That's not bad. I don't
Yeah.
mind that we've leveraged that into this. Like you've kind of written this in a pretty decent way. It's a shame we're not going to do a little bit more with it because when we find out whose yacht it is, it's Ricky Tam's yacht as the villain, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Well, then, so he goes to, Jackie Chan is captured and brought, well, they're both brought before Ricky Tan. Jackie Chan is talking to Ricky Tan, and then Asian kind of cruel psychopath lady, whatever her name is, she comes in, shoots Ricky Tan. He falls off the boat, and then leaves the goons to just go attack Jackie Chan. Now,
Well, and so it's sort of implied that the reason that she did this is to maybe frame him.
Maybe.
because he had a grudge because Ricky Tam was his father's partner. And Ricky Tam is having betrayed his father and got him killed. So that's kind of how we're tying him to the case overall.
Mhm.
Um, but like it's not clear that that's the intent. It just sort of seems
Maybe.
reckless
Like,
that
yeah.
they that they just didn't kill him.
Yeah, I thought I
Or at
was
least
like,
try.
because it doesn't really come to anything, the framing,
Yeah,
really. So, she comes in, obviously, Ricky Tan, we'll find out, isn't dead, right? He
yeah.
survived that?
Ricky Tam faked his own death
So is
to
that why they don't shoot him, because those aren't real bullets?
yeah, it's like, are they trying to frame him for killing Ricky Tam, or is Ricky
Even though he's
Tam,
not really
even
dead,
though he's not really
or
dead, or is Ricky Tam just like trying to make sure, like, because it does, like, they don't really leverage the fact that he's dead at all.
no, the way it plays out when I'm watching it is like, oh, he gets immediately shot and falls off the back of the boat, and then she sends the goons to go attack Jackie Chan when she could have just shot him, and that would have been the end of the movie. And so I'm trying to imagine why she wouldn't have wanted to kill him, and I'm having to really like twist and contort myself to come up with an answer that makes sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, like, yes, Jay, they faked it, but to what end did they fake it is unclear.
Yeah, like, yeah.
what what exactly was the goal behind faking his death? Because it like faking his death and then leaving Lee alive, or not shooting Lee but sending the goons to kill Lee, but then like they didn't want him dead in the first place, really, because like in the first time they have a big bit of conflict, they just embarrass him by and like this is one of the like when I was watching it I was like, okay, so Ricky Tam has to be like not super involved in this scheme, right? Because like
Yeah.
he's been disrespected and like basically like walked up on by a cop who's investigating him, right? And his response is, instead of to just like kill him, it's to strip him butt naked and have him run through the street to the police station to get
Yeah.
redressed. And so it's more like he's just kind of bullying him a little bit because he doesn't, he's like, ah, you idiot, why would you do this to me, right? But it's like it's almost like having fun with him, or like playing a joke on him. But because then he's gonna try to convince him he's not involved, and then get shot by his henchwoman. But like that's not, but then not shoot him. So it's like, is he just counting on Lee to report back that Ricky was shot by his head? Like, I think he's just kind of counting on the chief to think Lee did it. I don't know.
Uh,
It's not very clear. It's all very confusing. And then like why does Ricky faking his death help his cause at all?
as
Really?
Jay Jameson points out, and we've sort of hinted at, like, framing him would be smart and clever
Yeah.
and useful, but they don't really force the issue. Like, in the immediate next scene, the chief's like, "You're too close to this case. You're off of it."
Yeah. Like
It's like, well,
nobody,
that's
yeah,
all that really
like
comes
you
of
just
the
said,
framing
nobody ever
stuff.
really believes that he actually did it. They just say like, "Hey, you're too close, we're still going to keep investigating it." It's not like the case is going to close because
No.
now his triad is like running wild without him, right? So like they just assume that the triad has a new leader and they're still going to keep investigating. So it doesn't even work to like get anybody off his back. They're still
No.
investigating everybody who is involved in carrying out the plot. So
Yeah.
it's not helpful in any way,
No.
really. It
So,
doesn't
because
do
when I watched
anything.
that, I was like, "Oh, that guy's not the main villain then, because he just got brutally killed by someone else. Isn't that kind of interesting? Oh, wait, why didn't they just kill Jackie Chan then? They must be trying to do something with it. Oh, I guess they don't, aren't really. And oh, I guess that guy really was the villain the whole time." So ultimately, I'm like, I'm kind of at a
Yeah,
loss
I don't know
for
I
why
don't know
that
what you want
happened.
me to gather from that, but I didn't.
So like I said, he's taken off the case, and then they're gonna go fly back right to
Yeah, well, yeah, he's taken off the case, and Carter's about to leave in a huff because his vacation has been ruined, and he has now
that's
been
all he cares about.
yeah,
Yeah,
because that's all he cares about. But then Jackie gets out of the car and tells Carter like, "Hey, look, Ricky killed my dad. Basically, he got my dad killed. That's why I was so mad about it." And he goes, "Oh shit. Well, then I'm gonna help you investigate this case. Then why didn't you just say that? I will help you investigate this case. We're going to L.A. Let's go."
yeah.
It's like, okay. I mean, like, because he got the clue from the guy who owns half of LA being on the boat, which, there were a lot of people on that boat. Seems like it's kind of a loose connection, but it's going to work out anyway. So, sure. Now they're back in LA and we meet Don Cheadle. We do the same kind of like bullying the people who are involved in the bully. Basically, Chris Tucker browbeating the black people in LA into giving him information. Um, And you know what? This is another one where it's just a little bit weaker, right? Because like he goes to visit his cousin at the pool hall because his cousin is involved in some shady shit, right? And he's trying to get a name of an arms dealer. And his cousin doesn't know the name, but he does know where he operates out of. And that's because his cousin is tangentially involved in moving things through the black market in LA. In this one, he just so happens to know a black guy who really wants to be Chinese and who has a Chinese restaurant and just so happens to like why does he have the fake money again? Because he has
Why does why does who have the fake
Don
money?
Cheadle has a bunch of the fake money. Oh, because he runs a gambling parlor. That's right,
And they're
and they're
laundering
they're
it through
laundering it through
gambling.
gambling.
But why would they launder it through a small podunk gambling
Don't
parlor?
know. When they're about to open a casino in Las Vegas
Yeah.
and just do that instead. Yeah, that's see like again, it's all like all the pieces from the first one are there. It's just we're doing them in a much weaker way, right? Like they went to this underground gambling place on Crenshaw Boulevard and tried to launder some of the money through the guy who runs it.
Yeah, I don't
Eh,
know. It's just a little
it's not quite. Not. It's just not like it's all just a lot looser, a lot weaker.
yeah. Anyway, moving along, that is when we go back and we're spying on the lady, the Spanish lady. We're watching her because we're just waiting for her to lead to whoever could be the next clue. And then she's undressing, and Jackie Chan's hot under the collar about that. And we're spying on her through like a weird telephoto camera rig thing. I think Brett Ratner personally owned that rig, and so they just let him use it in the movie. And then and then they notice that, oh my gosh, the lady who wears wigs is dropping off a package, so they have to go run across the street, break into the thing, take the package, go up onto the roof, try to get rid of it, try to find a place to throw the bomb, but it's not a bomb. As the lady in the bathrobe comes up to let them know it's the fake money. This is where they learned about the fake money, and they're like, by the way, I'm in Secret Service. Is that what she says?
Yeah, she's in the Secret Service because they're trying to track down the plates that were
Right.
stolen and the printing press.
Right. And so then they're like deputized to be part of the Secret Service. And so that's when they go to Don Cheadle, Don Cheeble. Is there something there? Anyway, they go to Don Cheadle, who's in Chinaman face, and he's got the hat and he's got the sunglasses and the robe and all that sort of stuff. And Chris Tucker's trying to bully him for information. And then Jackie Chan starts fighting with them. And it's like the joke is that they're actually evenly matched, which I find very funny. And he's like, "How did you learn that move?" It's like, "Did you learn it from so and so?" It's like, "No, I learned it from this person with the same last name." "Oh yeah, they're brothers." And then they give each other like a nod of respect. It's
Yeah,
just like, it's such a great bit. Really funny
yeah.
to just have some random black guy in like, is this Los Angeles or are we in Las Vegas at this point? No, yeah, we're Los
No,
Angeles.
still in Los Angeles.
Yeah, some random black guy just happens to be like as competent in karate
That's
as
fun.
in kung
I don't
fu.
mind that.
Yeah, it's
Like
great.
Freddie
No,
Ching.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like
Freddie
it.
Freddie Ching in in South Central. It's like, oh, they're brothers. That's I like that. Yeah, Master Ching in Beijing. No, no, no. Freddie Ching. That's great. I like that. I think that's a lot of fun. That works for me. Um, yeah, it does. I don't know. Like the connection. I can understand the connection, but it's like I don't think it was. So Jay has been say he's like I disagree. That's not a flaw to the plot for a gambler who was paid out with fake bills to use them to gamble. But that's not. I don't think that's what it
That's
is
not
though.
what we're
That's not.
saying.
That's because it's not that. Oh, it's just some thug who got like he got paid out with the fake money and then he went over here to gamble. I'm pretty sure it's like a bunch of high rollers showed up to launder the money through
Yeah.
the gambling operation. Like they had way more money than they should have, or like they had a lot of money, and he checked it, and it seemed like it worked. But then they burn one, and they find out that it's fake. I didn't I didn't think it was because he was just like a gambling like one of the thugs who showed up to gamble. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Guess that could be. Yeah,
Yeah, it's less that they would launder it through gambling. That's the issue, and that like at this random like back hall, like this is like a little dive place.
yeah.
It seems
It's
odd that
odd.
they
I
would
thought
do
that
it
it was
here.
part that was part of the plot, but maybe it is just that like one of them showed up to gamble with some fake money so that he could.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean that would make more sense. So like because what does that lead get them? Right? Because like they get the lead from him, and where does that drive them next?
Um, I don't remember because I remember obviously it proves that what they're doing with the fake money, right? So, do they get a name from him? I'm trying to remember now. I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't really remember. Yeah, but real quick, Kyler, all the Asian jokes in the world, but not a single joke about Chinese people and gambling addiction. Disgraceful. Yeah, well, funnily enough, there is a
Oh
point.
yeah, I wanted to talk about that.
Yes, yeah. Because
Later in the movie, the villains are going to talk about like in a disparaging tone, as if it's some sort of like vague condemnation of American culture, how much Americans love gambling, and it's like, dude, have you met Asians? They love gambling.
have you ever
What are you
sat
talking
down at
about?
a baccarat table once in your life? Like 9 out of 10 of you are Chinese.
It just felt so like the racial cultural humor in the first movie felt much more accurate. We were playing on stereotypes that were real. And in this movie, I just feel like we're just making up stereotypes that aren't real. That like Americans are uniquely like big on gambling. Like what? Compared to Chinese people? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
What are
wait,
what
yeah.
are we talking about here? Like that's just that doesn't make any sense. Oh, and then the other one, this one, Hugh, made me laugh quite a bit. This is later in the movie when they're talking like his theory for like, oh, like when things get crazy, when things go sideways, you should like look out for white people that aren't like freaking out, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
Chris Tucker says that like, oh, you know, when shit goes sideways and the shooting starts, most white people are going to scream and run away. But if you see any that aren't, they're the bad guys, right? That's the basic gist of his point. And then he says, Chris Tucker in this movie says to Jackie Chan, "Let me tell you about black people. When stuff goes down, we keep our cool."
I don't know what you're referring to, Jamie. Black people are notoriously even-tempered and underreactive, some might even say. One of their biggest flaws is that
They're very zen.
they don't express enough indignation or emotion. That's why magic shows are in
But I heard that and I was like, "Yeah? You think so?"
Yeah.
You think
That is
so,
that true?
movie? You think that's true? You think Americans are uniquely big on gambling compared to Asians, and you think that when shit goes sideways, black people keep their cool?
Hmm.
Okay. I feel like in something in the realm of like accuracy and authenticity was lost when we started trying to do the racial humor in this movie. Um, yeah, I
When
that
like
struck
the
me as
the
odd.
next joke immediately, right, is like Jackie Chan goes, "Not like Asians," and he says, I've seen the movies when Godzilla shows up. You all are running around like chickens with your head cut off. Gayaka, gayaka." Um,
But it's like, but that's like Godzilla, dude. Like what?
is-
I don't know.
I
It's
don't
just it's
know,
not
dude.
working.
I don't
It's
know.
not.
There's so much that I like, and yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like there was a lot more that felt le- the camel's hump thing. Okay, so the camel's hump and the eel from the first one. Chinese
Mhm.
people will eat fucking anything, right? Yeah, that's
That's a
that's
true
true
stereotype.
stereotype, actual
Yes.
fact, right? Um, when we get to this one, and we're throwing around words like "let's get some sushi" or Godzilla and everything like that, I'm like, this feels like you didn't even talk to Jackie Chan about anything you could have included, because like I know we're not going to nitpick here. It's kind of like the Pan Asian time, like, but those are very Japanese, like very like distinctly Japanese. That's not something that a Chinese person is gonna react to. Like, there's got to be one for Chinese people. I don't know what it is. I'm not as big of a cheeb as I am a weeb, right? But there's got to be one, right? Like we've got the bitch slap you back to the Ming Dynasty thing. That's funny. I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Why like pick up your samurai swords and shave my butt? Like, come on, man. Like, there's
Yeah.
got to be more that we can do than just relying on these like
You don't
any.
we're just they're not good in this movie
Yeah,
for the most part. There's a couple, but for the most part, that has suffered in quality as well. The general sort of racial humor, the cultural clashing. We're just like we're not the idea that like, oh, white people when shooting starts, they freak out, but black people, they keep their cool. It's like, in what universe is that even remotely true? Why?
yeah.
I don't
Oh,
understand.
you know what? We didn't talk about one of the throwaway jokes from the first one that I thought was like underratedly kind of funny, because like the thing everybody remembers about it is the outtake where Chris Tucker can't pronounce gefilte fish, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But when he gets his meal on the plane, right?
That's in this
Oh, that's
movie.
in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's right here. That's right now, right?
It's yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
when he
yeah,
gets
yeah.
his meal on the plane, she drops it off and he goes, "Okay, this is the kosher meal." And shit, it's like, wait, that's funny. That's like one of those ones that they're kind of like,
Well, he says, "Is this the kosher meal?" And she says, "Yes," and he says, "Shalom,"
yeah,
and then
that
he walks
that,
off.
that like, okay, that's funny. Why?
Why? Yeah, I don't
Why
know.
did we include this? What
Like,
is
I
the
know Brett Ratner's Jewish, but like, there's
why?
Jews don't feature in the movie at all. It's a weird thing to
It's
randomly throw
so
in.
strange. It's so strange. It like
Brett Ratner, has anyone noticed that Asian people listen to their Bluetooth speakers very loudly on public transportation? Like,
That's
like,
Can you imagine like if they make Rush Hour 4 and it's just like one thing you got to know about white people, they love listening to music on JBLs. Whenever you hear Fetty Wap coming up the train, you know that's a white guy.
yeah, it's just like,
Oh my god, that'd be
what are
funny.
we
That
doing?
would actually be funny though if they ended up like you can make that happen. Like you can reverse like especially if he's explaining it to somebody who doesn't understand that aspect of American like life, then
Mhm.
like you can make that really funny, right?
Yeah.
This movie is not really doing it as in like as like a tongue in cheek kind of thing.
No, and the other thing is like, okay, later when he's being unbelievably obnoxious at the craps table,
Yeah.
like everyone there in the crowd, like a crowd starts forming around him to like kind of like watch on and cheer all his antics to a degree. And it's like, no, no, like not with the way he's acting, they wouldn't. Like the security come to like, try to like get him to stop being insane. But like a lot of people are like laughing and like while he's carrying on being unbelievably obnoxious. And it's like I feel like in the first movie he was less obnoxious, and the movie understood how obnoxious he was. In this movie, he's more obnoxious, and the movie is somehow less aware of it, or like less willing to make him the butt of the joke. But sometimes he is. It's strange, man. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Jameson just asked, "Are we going to spend more time on Rush Hour 2 because it's better per the title?" If we're
Oh
getting,
no, we better
yeah,
not.
we better wrap it up soon. Then, actually, if we're getting up to that point, the big fight in the casino is pretty cool. Actually, I don't mind that. I like the scene with the bomb in his mouth. I like when he's running around with the jump that he has to do to get his arms, to his front. Like he has to jump up really high, tuck his knees, and like put his arms to the front so he can scramble around with his wrists taped. Like that's all really impressive stunt work. I really like. I really like what we're doing here. Right?
Yeah.
We're not willing enough, I fear, to make Chris Tucker the Jack Burton of this movie because like there is
Yeah.
and I think it's probably because of the set decoration. Again, like that reminds me a little bit of Big Trouble in Little China, but like I
Mhm.
feel like there was an opportunity that we missed to do that. I
Yeah.
think that we really could have, and it would have been fun, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of do it a little bit because she accidentally the the baddie who likes to blow people up, she kind of accidentally kills herself with one of the one of the
Yeah.
like real halberds in the terracotta soldiers.
Yeah.
But like other than that, he's just kind of like it's not really they
'Cause
didn't
then,
do it
like,
enough.
the
They didn't
big
go
joke
far
he
enough.
has with that when that happens is like, "We coulda made a great couple," and it's like, I don't that doesn't feel like
Didn't feel
we
we
haven't
earned
done
that.
anything to
Yeah,
earn that joke. It just doesn't quite work. I mean, Jackie Chan's doing a bunch of great stuff with his hands and mouth taped shut and, like, the bomb inside it, like, going after the remote, and he keeps getting kicked away, and he's, like, fighting people with his hands tied together and all that sort of stuff. There's a brief too brief, I would say, like, cat fight moment where the Spanish lady in the white dress and the evil, you know, Chinese lady in the black outfit, they go to
high
kick
kick.
each
Yeah, they
other,
high
and
kick
their
each other, and their heels
and their
get
heels
stuck.
get caught like it's swords, like, you know, crossed, and, like, that's kind of fun, but we don't really get a full girl fight scene, which I feel like if you're gonna make this kind of movie, you'd wanna hit that beat, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know? But apparently not. And there's like, the set pieces look great. It's very colorful and vibrant. And there's all these great explosions and the money flying everywhere and all the colors and everything. The cinematography is good, and there's some fun action stuff. Ultimately, the guy who owns a lot of Los Angeles and owns this casino, he's not the ultimate bad guy because the guy who got shot and pushed off the boat, he's still alive. He faked his death for reasons that still
Elude
not totally
us.
clear on.
Yes. Reasons that elude us and the writers alike. But
But then this is when we get the like, oh, he starts, he doing the thing like you're just like your father, sort of thing. And it's
yeah.
like, oh, that's
I
not.
did okay. I did kind of like that, honestly. The like not that part, but when Chris Tucker like is just like, no, don't do it, Lee. And then he says, you're just like your father. He's like, oh hell no, shoot him in the face. And he's just, like,
Yeah,
so, like
yeah.
instead of doing the like the usual thing, it's like he's trying to goad him into killing him, and then
Yeah.
Chris Tucker is like just doing the same thing. Like he's just like it's just happening. Just like shoot him. You hear him disrespecting your daddy like that? Shoot him, Lee. I'll say I won't even look. I'll say it was justified. I'll say he pulled a knife. Like it's so funny.
Yeah,
That's a really
that's a
good
good
one.
beat.
That's a good
That's a
beat.
good beat for sure. I find the general connection to the fact that he, you know, killed his dad or whatever, like not super meaningful. Like we could have done more with it to make it meaningful, but it's like when they reveal it, it's like, oh,
Well, and like the fact that they okay, so like one of the things about it, right, is that the fact that he's faked his death and kind of just been out of the movie for most
yeah,
of it,
yep,
it like
yep.
kind of completely diffuses it as a driver for the stakes at all,
Yeah.
right?
I agree. I think we're not really making good use of it
yeah,
as a result of the faking of the death, which again, still
somehow
not
Ricky
100%
Tam
sure
returned.
on. He faked his death for reasons, and unless like I mean, Unless I'm just misremembering them. I don't remember a good reason for why that happens. Anyway, so a fight breaks out as it does, and Ricky Tan is eventually thrown out the window and crashes painfully into the top of a cab and
Leading
dies.
to the outtake that everybody knows.
Yes.
Damn, he ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 3.
Good line, Chris. Good job. I found it actually quite funny and kind of like a curt way for like him to go out, you know? Like I
Yeah,
actually kind of liked that. It was surprising how quick and brutal it was. After all this build up, it's just like fuck. He makes like I'm imagining like the kind of sound effect that happens in South Park when people get killed really abruptly. That little noise they make. Anyway, but then crazy psycho lady is still alive. She's got a bomb strapped to her chest, and they have to go jump out the window with their
crazy
jackets over
ass.
with the jackets over like zip lining essentially down and out the building, which is pretty fun. And
It's
then they
great. Yeah,
like
that's
wrap
great sit done. I like that a lot.
yeah, it's fun. They wrap around the sign, and they're hanging over the overpass, and then a giant Mack truck leaning on its horn is coming towards them. And so Jackie Chan has to push Chris Tucker away, so they like separate and move onto either side of the truck. And then I mentioned this before, but Jackie Chan goes running with his feet along the side of the truck while Chris Tucker just kind of tumbles. Very funny, good stuff. They land in the middle of the road, and then another truck is coming, so they have to like lay flat and just barely avoid getting run over. And then they like sit up and say something, and then
He
another
well,
car
he says,
comes,
"I
and they
can't
have to
believe I flew 10,000 miles for this shit," and that like because
yeah,
that echoes what Chris Tucker said earlier when they fell off of the bamboo scaffolding. Good stuff.
yes.
I'm fine with that.
It's good.
Yeah,
That little 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes is like really strong and makes me feel like, oh, okay, they stuck the landing a
yeah.
little bit, at least with the action set pieces. That's pretty fun. Not nearly as good as the first movie, but that's a fun way
Hey,
to end
yeah,
the movie.
we did a nice ending, and then at the airport the next day, for some reason the Spanish lady kisses Jackie Chan.
I guess
I
because they
guess
formed a relation that they are in love now.
they danced
He likes
once
him.
at the casino, and I,
That's true. They did dance briefly, and then when she was wounded, he like showed concern for her. So there's that. That's good.
yeah,
And so they kiss because he kind of like she's gonna go off to New York and he's gonna go back to Hong Kong, but it's like but then he's Chris Tucker's like, I guess we're gonna go our separate ways. Oh wait, by the way, I won this money legitimately at craps from the casino. Here's $10,000. It's yours. And Jackie Chan is like, I can't accept it. It's like, yeah, you can. Like, what do you want to spend it on? And he's like, and then he looks over at the Spanish Latina lady going on the plane to New York. He's like, I've never been to Madison Square Garden. Like, maybe we could go there and
see the
stay at a
Knicks
nice
play.
resort, all
Yeah,
that sort of
stay at a
stuff.
nice resort in New York.
And then they're like, then they're gonna go. It's implied that he's gonna go a little bit chase after that girl. He's gonna go see New York, and him and Chris Tucker are gonna have a nice real vacation in New York City. And isn't that nice? And then as they're walking away, they just start to dance because remember when they did that in the first movie? And then it ends, and it's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, and that's the end of the Rush Hour franchise. No more to see here. It's over. We're done. No more Rush Hour. Isn't that great?
Didn't they pay
You
out
know
with
what?
fake cash? I don't know if it. I don't think it's all fake
No,
cash.
no, no. I don't. Oh, yeah.
I,
Wait, that was the whole plan for the casino. That
yeah,
was the
but that doesn't.
whole plan for the casino was that they were going to pay everybody out with fake cash after getting the real money in there. So, like, when did he cash out? And like, did they
When did he
stop the
cash out?
plan?
Does he know that this is real money? Has he checked? A
Did they
simple
stop the
line like
plan when the
I
guys
burned some
died?
I burned some of it just to make sure it was real. So that's coming out of your cut. Like you can make a joke like that, you know? There's something there.
Yeah.
It's like I made this much money here. You can like I have $10,000. You have 950. you know, like that. Like I don't know. There's something you can do there, but yeah, it's not clear whether that's real money or not because obviously it would be fucked up for those characters to just decide it's okay to spend the fake money. So I think by implication, you kind of have to assume that they believe it's real money. But how do they know it's real money? When did they cash out? Questions there, but we're not we don't care about that. Right?
Okay.
This was the first draft, and we just started filming, so We're not going to think about
We
too
just
many of those
wrapped it.
things.
Like, come on, we're done. No. We stopped writing months ago. We're done. We're done. Stop thinking. Stop thinking about it. Don't ask questions. Rush Hour 2.
And that's Rush Hour 2.
That's Rush Hour 2.
And Hugh, I'm getting word from our chat. A guy named Travion Washington says, "No, guys, there's definitely a Rush Hour 3. Have you heard about this?"
No, I haven't. I have not heard anything about that. I've never seen it. I didn't know. Is this new? Did they just make this? Was this what President Trump asked for? He was like, "Guys, I really loved
I
those
have
2 Rush Hour movies. You got to make me another one. I'm gonna play it at my inauguration." But is that when that happened? Like 2 years ago, they made it. Like, I bet you that's not as good.
I have not seen any hypothetical Rush Hour 3 movie. You hypothetically saw it
I
years and years
hypothetically might
ago.
have seen one Rush Hour 3 movie years and years ago, and hypothetically might have thought it was absolute dog shit even then, when I was primed to love Rush Hour as a
Yeah.
wee lad. Um,
When did it hypothetically come out?
Hypothetically in 2007. So
Mm.
6 years. I can't do math. I'm a writer. I don't do math. 6 years after this last one. Um, yeah, I like. Hypothetically, Rush Hour 3 would have, I believe, a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a significant step down. Not that
I'll
that
say.
means a ton, but
It's usually indicative of something, right?
something's wrong.
Anything else
Yeah,
you
I
want to
just
say
don't.
about hypothetically?
I just don't understand why Paris? Why fucking Paris? Like,
Why wouldn't you go to New York?
yeah, why wouldn't you
Right?
just put them in New York? Just make it take place in New York, or like put it. I mean, I guess it was probably because they were like, "Oh, we can't."
9/11.
Oh, not. Oh shit! Actually, you know what? Yeah, that's probably why.
Literally, because like immediately after this movie is when 9/11
Oh my
happened.
god! Wait a minute. They're about to get on a plane to New York, and then 1 month later, 9/11 happens.
I'm not
Oh
saying they
god!
were involved. I wouldn't want to
I,
accuse someone like that.
oh my god!
But
Can you imagine if that was like the plot of the third one? Is that they were the only 2 survivors? Oh god.
yeah, Paris is an odd choice, hypothetically.
Yeah. Why Paris?
I don't know. It's so you can put the Eiffel Tower on the poster,
So
as they
that
did.
you can have fun with them like
Now they're
mispronouncing
both
both
fish.
mispronouncing
See, Hugh,
fresh.
you don't understand. It's actually brilliant, right? Because in the first movie, Jackie Chan is the fish out of water in America, and in the second movie, for like a half of it, maybe at best, Chris Tucker is the fish out of water in Hong Kong. But now we got to make both of them fishes out of waters. So we got to put them in another country that they both do not speak the language and have silly customs and fun stereotypes to play with, like France. It's actually brilliant. You see,
Jesus, Richard Roper from Ebert and Roper. The third installment is so cartoonishly stupid it makes the original look like a classic. You shut your mouth. The original is a classic.
that's what I mean.
But
They were
also,
so
like, yeah.
spoiled. They were living, like they were living fat and happy, and they didn't know how good they had it with the first Rush Hour movie. They're like, yeah, yeah, it was fun. I guess it was fun. I mean, it's nothing special. It's like, what do you mean? It's a
No,
great movie.
it was a great movie, and it spawned like a series of clones too. Like when I was a kid, I used to watch this show called Martial Law. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It was like a network TV ripoff of Rush Hour with a guy named Sammo Hung. I've talked about him before. He's basically fat Jackie Chan. That was sort of his shtick. He even has a movie, or yeah, he has a movie called Enter the Fat Dragon, which is like a
Okay.
parody of the Bruce Lee movie
Sure.
Enter the Dragon. It was him and Arsenio Hall as L.A. cops.
All right.
So, which is
Sure.
like it's basically, and they ended up making a Rush Hour TV show, a couple of years ago, right, where they just sort of did this, So it's like you basically just copied Martial Law, which copied Rush Hour. So like I mean, insanely popular and a huge moment in American culture, in movies and the development of them for the next couple of years until 9/11. And
Yeah.
like, yeah. No,
And
I
obviously,
all I
this movie,
remember is
to a
that
degree,
like
this is downstream of buddy cop movies before it, but also movies like Beverly Hills Cop were obviously you know led to this in their own way. It feels like, I don't know, maybe like the high watermark of this kind of movie, in terms of like the time, right? There might have been better ones before, but like this is like, oh man, this is like around the peak of those, and then it drops off pretty hard after this first Rush Hour movie in terms of the fun action buddy cop romp. You know, I can't think of many great ones that came after that, including the sequels.
yeah, and I can't imagine that a fourth one is really a great idea, but they are asking for it at the moment. You know. Oh,
I
and
voted for this, etc. I mean, I
Wes
wouldn't expect it to be good, but I am kind of curious,
Wes in
right?
the chat, didn't Jackie Chan have a kids cartoon show in the 2000s? Yes, he fucking did. Yes, he did, and it was great. Do you remember that Jackie Chan Adventures?
No, my girlfriend was telling me about it. I have not seen that.
Dude, that I wish that show was streaming. You can only get it by like paying for individual episodes right now, so I'm not gonna fucking watch it unless I can find a copy of it on DVD somewhere. But it was essentially Jackie Chan as Indiana Jones. He
I can
was
dig it.
he was like an archaeologist who went around saving Chinese artifacts, and there were Chinese demons that wanted these medallions, that kind of looked like Pai Sho pieces from Avatar, like mahjong tiles almost, and they would summon like the spirits of the 12 zodiac animals or something like that. I mean, yeah, it had a great cast of characters. It was like him and his niece and his uncle running around doing all this magic shit. It was fun. It was a lot of fun as a Saturday morning cartoon. And if they were to make a live action version of that, I think that they could get there was a time when I thought Simu Liu might be pretty good, but then I realized how obnoxious he is. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and now I don't know who they would get, but hopefully not him.
Well, yeah, just, I don't know, until the person comes along who just demands to be the next Jackie Chan type, like, don't even go looking for one, is what I would say.
Didn't Simu Liu have like a whole thing about how like I'm the first Asian action star to like kind of like Jennifer Lawrence being like I'm the first girl who ever did action movies? It was just
I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me that he said that based on what I
yeah,
have heard him say.
yeah. I'm the first one that really broke the mold or like made it big in yeah. What a joke! As if he's got a fraction of the star power that
Yeah.
Jackie Chan and like I mean
I
even
think
Jet
about
Li like
Jackie
there is
Chan.
no Jet Li without Jackie Chan at this point,
Yeah.
right? Like all of those Jet Li movies from the 2000s like Romeo Must Die and The One, none of those happen without Jackie Chan absolutely blowing up the box office or Sammo Hung coming over and being like the only Asian dude to ever headline a cop drama on network TV.
Yeah.
Like fuck off.
I I
Simu.
think I think of Jackie Chan a lot like people such as Gene Kelly or like Buster Keaton, where they were just like unbelievable, like physical performers in a way that like you can't just get someone who's a decent actor and train them to become that. They're just operating at a whole nother level. It's like I saw something. This was maybe a year ago now, where they're like, "Oh, there's this movie in development that's going to be a movie about Fred Astaire or Gene Kelly. I don't remember which, but they're both comparably good dancers. And like Tom Holland is going to play him. It's like Tom Holland is neither of those. Okay,
No.
he can be a perfectly fine actor. He's a pretty good physical performer as Spider Man, but
He was
he's
a
not fucking.
gymnast. He's not a dancer, though. I mean, I guess I
No,
could
he's
buy
not.
that he could learn to move his
But
body.
it's like, okay, if you're gonna make a movie about Jackie Chan and you just picked a pretty good Asian actor and you're like, oh, well, train him. It's like,
No, no.
just don't, just don't.
Somebody also told me, remember Bruce Lee, the OG. Never forgetting. of course. Like without Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan doesn't have a career really, because Jackie Chan was sort of following in his footsteps. But Jackie Chan was billed in the early stages of his career as like the next Bruce Lee. So like we don't have one of them right now. We don't have somebody who is like crossing that cultural barrier. You know, Donnie Yen is fine. He's okay, but he's not. He's more niche. He's not. He doesn't have the appeal that really drives. Like Donnie Yen does not get Rush Hour. You know, he's not
No.
the guy who they're gonna put into a
No.
movie like this.
You know, Jackie Chan is a generational talent. Like some of these other people who are just not easily replaced because they are just operating at like a completely next level elite tier, you know, strata that, you know, even good actors are just like nothing compared to. And you can't just find the next one like that. You just, you know, if I think about someone like Gene Kelly, who I would argue is maybe the best like musical dancer of all time in movie history. Like he got his start in vaudeville, right, and stuff like that, and a lot of, you know, like I don't know. I just it's interesting. Like these people come along and they're just absolutely like elite performers, and it's just like we're just kind of lucky to have them, you
Yeah.
know. And if we don't have them right now, we don't have them right now. We got to wait for the next one to come along. We just got to make sure, you know, when they do come along, there are people willing to take chances on them. But I can't think of anyone right now that's even close.
No,
What I'm getting at, even there are some good choreographers and stuff like that, but I just can't think of any performers that are operating at his level.
not even close. Well,
Anyway,
that's
Rush
Rush Hour.
Hour.
Yeah, Rush Hour. Rush
Rush Hour.
Hour.
I like that first movie a whole bunch.
Yes.
Man, what a movie! I think I might love it.
Yeah,
The
I'm
first
gonna
one's great.
agree. I got to agree. Rush Hour 1 is pretty fucking great. Rush Hour 2, eh, eh.
Eh. I don't think I'll ever see it again.
Yeah, I
I
would
mean, if it's
I'll
on, I
rewatch the
might
first
watch
one.
a few minutes
I'll
of it.
rewatch the
Yeah,
first one. But
yeah.
yeah, the
I'll
second one I
rewatch
think
the
I'm
first
good.
one immediately because Jen hasn't seen it yet, so I'm gonna
Oh
probably
shit,
show
hell
her.
yeah.
Yeah, but you know, it's a great movie, a lot of fun. It's just lightning in a bottle type movie from a better time. And I say this with absolutely no irony at all. That we don't make movies like that anymore, and we should,
Yeah,
and we can.
yeah, we should, we
You know,
can.
we might not be able to find the next Jackie Chan, but you know, we can do a lot of the things that that movie does. Again, there's an appetite for it,
There sure is.
so we'll see what
That's
happens.
why we're looking for Rush. That's why the president is begging for a Rush Hour 4. Like
Yes.
apparently.
Speaking of movies that apparently Trump is actually really big into that we should see and talk about, I still have never seen Gone with the Wind. And
Oh,
that feels like a
okay.
big blind spot.
Okay,
So
yeah,
maybe
maybe we
when we
should
have like 3 to 4 hours to
just
watch and
yeah, to set
dedicate,
aside and watch yeah, and talk about that. Yeah,
we should add
that
that
would be
one to the
yeah.
list. The
That's
next movie on the Disney arc will be Aristocats. Are we doing that next Sunday? Maybe
we'll
not.
talk about it. We'll
Well,
talk about it.
we'll talk about
Maybe.
it. We'll figure it out. But thank you all very much for joining us. Hope you had a good time. I had a good time talking about Rush Hour, talking about, you know, racist humor and all that sort of fun stuff. If you enjoyed it, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining
Thanks for
us.
sticking around.
No call to action. Just I hope you liked it.
I hope you liked it.
Um, all right. Goodbye, friends. We'll see you next week. Say if you're well behaved, maybe you'll be on screen next week if the OBS gods allow it. So live your lives a quarter mile at a time. Do whatever sort of rain dance prayer you need to do to make sure that Fast 11 still happens and that it's not
Yes.
dead
Please, for
forever.
the love of
Because we
God.
got to know what
We
happened to our
have to
boy
know
Vin
what
Diesel.
happens to
Yeah,
Saint Dominic Toretto,
yeah,
patron of fast cars and family.
yeah.
Yeah. See you next time.
That's all I got for you. See you later.